Started to this first meeting in June, the City Council meeting. But before we get started, we'll do a prayer followed by the pledge, and the pledge will be led by Chief D-Back. If everybody would please stand. Dear God of mercy and guiding light, we gather tonight as a people of Biloxi, grateful for the sea that sustains our city, and for the 97th blessing of the fleet that bonds our past to our future. Grant us wisdom to discern truth from rumor, to combat misinformation with patience, compassion, and clarity. Bless our leaders and our neighbors with steady hands and honest hearts as we steer toward responsible growth, thriving businesses, and shared prosperity. May our decisions honor those who came before us, protect the fragile gifts of our coast, and invite every generation to dream bigger while staying rooted in faith, family, and community. Help us navigate challenges with humility, courage, and service to all who call Biloxi home. We pray for calm seas, sound minds, and hopeful spirits as we move forward together today, tomorrow, and for many tides to come. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair, entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Mr. Creel.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Gray. Mr. Creel.
No comment.
No comment. Mr. Gray, anyone else? All in favor? Those opposed? The clerk would read the revisions.
To the consent agenda, we're adding 5J, resolution requesting the assistance of Harrison County in the repair of Danilo Park. Adding 5K, resolution requesting the assistance of Harrison County in the cleaning of ditches and culverts throughout Ward 7.
Chair, entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Creel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gray. Any discussion?
None.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Presentation agenda, Mayor's report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, and welcome everyone. It's June, and in particular, I'd like to welcome Dan Cuevas, Supervisor of District 1. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I think they gave me a few notes, but it is hurricane season, so it's time to be like a Boy Scout and get ready for things to come. And along those lines, I think we have the Sea Lake Bridge is going to be down so a turntable motor can be replaced, I think 9 to 2 tomorrow. And Be Alert is online, ready to go. And the one event that's going to be notable this weekend is the Sanger Theater. First performance will be at 7 p.m. and I think a ribbon cutting at 5. That's this Saturday. And Juneteenth is scheduled celebration on June 19th, Saturday, and June 20th. And before I turn it over to Rick, I want to ask the council to spread the expenses of the Biloxi travel credit card to the minutes. And I'll give it to Rick, who will give it to Rachel.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Just one reminder for all of y'all that we do have our downtown merchants meeting tomorrow at 3, which will be located in here. And at this point in time, I'd ask Ms. Quaid to come up and then Chief D-Back.
Rick has asked me to give y'all a report on the status with the towing, because there's been some confusion back and forth about exactly where we are in the process. At this time, it is not in effect. This was always meant to be a 5-step process to get us there, where we adopt an ordinance, which we've done. We approve a manual, which was done. Then we publish the RFP and receive bids. That was done. And then we hit a snafu of, on April 27th, we received notice from the state that the new Commercial Towing Advisory Committee had to approve all medium and light duty towing. Simultaneously with this, we discovered conflict with the LDO in our manual. So we're stopped in that process. Until we are able to resolve this, we can't adopt rates or enter contracts that bind the towing companies to the terms of the manuals and the rates. So I just wanted to make it really clear to everyone that it is not yet in effect, although we have adopted a manual. As for timing, we've been working with Jerry. This will require an amendment to the LDO. We think this will take about 6 to 8 weeks. It has to be published. It has to go to the Planning Commission before it comes back to council. Once we get that done, we will present you with some amendments to the towing manual, and then we will contact the towing companies and attempt to go ahead and enter agreements at that time. But until those agreements are signed, nothing is bound, nothing is in effect. Does anybody have any questions? I know we've had a lot of...
Any questions for Ms. Quave?
No, I appreciate you doing what you're doing because you've been working on this for a long time. This is something that's probably been needed for, 15 years? I mean, Biloxi needs to get with everybody else. They all have different ordinances and policies that we don't have, and we're here to protect the citizens.
Correct.
And our guests, and that's what this is the best for them, and not for the city, but we have to give them something to go by, and this is what we need to do. And whatever you need, you let me know.
Thank you.
And the council, and we'll make sure it happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Any other questions for Ms. Quave? Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for your time. Wanted to update you on a couple things happening at the police department. As you all know, and as the mayor alluded to, hurricane season started yesterday. And as always, we have ensured the police department and staff are prepared to handle whatever comes our way to fully support the city. That being said, we have 2 critical shortcomings, both of which I believe are being addressed in the bond, which I respectfully ask that the matter be decided upon quickly. Amongst a list of items, the roof at the public safety building and the generators both at Communications Center and the PD are on there. In reference to the generators, we're having to have something repaired just about monthly during routine operational checks on each of the units because they are that old. Due to the age of the generators, finding parts can also be a challenge to keep them running. One of the biggest issues is if the generators fail during a critical incident, not only would we lose access to informational databases, but also things like our records management system, and more importantly, all of our communications. This would not only pose a significant challenge to the police department, but also the fire department. Another item on the list is our roof. Last week, we had the downpours just about all week. Not only did we experience new leaks, but existing leaks became worse. In a couple spots, it was at free flow of water. I don't mean a drizzle. I'm talking about you turn on the water faucet and get your high quality H2O. This is an urgent operational issue. In reference to manpower, we are currently budgeted for 132 sworn officers, and we currently have about 120. We have 6 more anticipated to start June 17th. Out of the 120 officers, 2 are attending the academy, and we have about another 8 in some kind of various FTO training program. That leaves us with about 110 that can be used or assigned. Even though we have a staffing shortage, officers respond to between 1,900 and as many as 2,500 calls a week. As you know, one of our biggest daily complaints is homelessness. Today, I'm able to dedicate 1 full-time and 1 part-time officer to the homeless program. As I mentioned earlier, we have a number in training and more being hired. The plan is to increase that squad's numbers in order to be more proactive rather than reactive. Even with the additional manpower, and with that being said, unfortunately, they cannot be everywhere all the time. One of the things we are working on to combat this is a reporting program. We currently have one that allows officers to monitor trespass letters through their phone or their mobile data terminal. Using the same program, but modified, it will allow officers and citizens to report an issue with a homeless person, or more importantly for us, to track camps and activity so we can move our assets or manpower accordingly while also addressing the current problem in a timelier manner. This program is at no cost, as it is one that we already have, and I hope to see it being tested and rolled out shortly. Recently, we have received the complaints in reference to our parks. Extra patrols have been set up between the homeless squad and patrol in order to identify the individuals and address the situation appropriately. Over the years, we have worked with many organizations to aid in addressing the problem with homelessness. We will continue to identify individuals, get them in touch with the proper resource, and if the law is violated, make the arrest. Another issue I'd like to give you information on is our animal control unit, which is comprised of 2 ACOs. For the past couple of years and in the FY27 budgetary proposal, I have requested an additional spot. Since the beginning of 2026, ACOs have received and responded to around 1,000 calls for service. Anything from a stray dog, noise complaint, dead animal, leash law violation, and many more. In the month of May, they responded to 245 calls for service. Those calls were just about evenly split between the east, wards 1 and 2, the west, wards 3 and 5, and the north, wards 4, 6, and 7. Since the beginning of 2026, 63 animals in the east, 53 in the west, and 75 in the north have been brought to the Humane Society. Our ACOs have requested additional equipment to aid in their duties. Once that is received and they are trained on it, they will continue answering the calls for service and attempting to be more proactive rather than reactive in situations like the dogs in the east. With an additional slot approved through budget, that would go a long way to allowing ACOs to be more proactive and have a 7-day coverage as opposed to 5 days right now. You have the best police department, and that will not change, staffing shortage or not. Our strategic plan calls for more sworn and a variety of civilian positions, which is a topic for another day. However, this plan will give us the capability of not being stretched thin to provide necessary services and finding resolution for the citizens we serve. Since BPD's inception in 1887, we have had the same mission to protect life and property, as well as respond to incidents, seek resolution, and improve the quality of life for the people we serve. That strategic plan will be modified over time to meet the needs of employees and citizens in order to stay current. You will see it through the budgetary process over time as the city's revenues allow, and we will remain fiscally responsible while meeting and exceeding the needs of the city. Once again, I appreciate your time and the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone have any questions for the Chief at this time? Okay. Marshall? Okay.
It's okay to do a question and answer now? I can
Yeah.
call him. Okay. That okay with y'all? Question and answer, can I question him?
Absolutely.
All right. Simple things is what we're looking for. Okay. When we see an officer ride by and there's a person laying flat out on a sidewalk on Division Street, and we see 3 or 4 police, your patrol cars pass by, that doesn't cost $1 extra for that patrol car to stop and ask that particular person. Don't arrest them. Move off the sidewalk. Takes 3 seconds, 3 minutes at the most. That's all we asking for. Tapper, we don't make them any more disadvantaged than they are. However, that's not what our sidewalks are for. Okay. The other day I saw it, I was with my wife, we was riding through, and I saw a high-ranking official pass by on, right past the crossing. What's the name of the street that runs beside the railroad, whatever it is?
Esther's.
Okay, but only by the other side of Keesler. I'm drawing a blank. But I saw a high-ranking official pass by, and literally, me and my wife was sitting there talking about the guy laying on the sidewalk. And they rode right by, like that person was not laying on the sidewalk. That has nothing to do with the budget. That has nothing to do with money. We're paying them to ride around those cars anyway. Your officers do very well. I've had the opportunity to talk to them many, many, many times. And they're all friendly. We have the best, you're right, we have the best police department, I would say, in the whole southeast United States. But all we ask is that they tap them on the shoulder and say, you can't lay on the sidewalk. You can't sit here. They ride by and they're just sitting there, and you ride by 2 hours later, this same group is sitting there drinking beer and talking. That's loitering. Ask them to continue to move.
If you see it, you got to call us. If you see an incident, the random incident where the officer passes by, you got to call me. That's the only way I can fix it.
Then I would be doing your job. You were elected to do that. You were hired to do that. If your officers, no sir, I'm speaking. If your officers are riding by, if I can see it, they're trained to look for it.
I understand that,
They
but
can see it.
if an officer's not doing their job, the only way I know is if somebody lets me know.
You mean to tell me that all these officers riding through, especially East Biloxi, and they don't see these people sitting on the side, laying out on the sidewalk?
I'm not with every officer 24/7, so I don't know what they're doing or what they see. You have to tell me so I can fix the issue.
At this exact moment, sir, I am telling you.
Okay.
Right now, I'm telling you, they're passing by, watching things go on. Now, the parks close at 7 o'clock, most of the parks in the area, and I've already contacted several people about it. In East Biloxi, I would like to have that zero tolerance, at least for the next 30 days. Zero tolerance, 7 o'clock.
We've already got that in place.
Okay. And I'd like to address it again in 30 days to see if it helped out any at all. But as far as your constraints, your financial constraints and things that you need, I'm going to always vote for you. I'm going to always support you 100%. If they don't do it, I'm going to fuss at them because we know we need to get you whatever you need to do your job. But on the same token, sir, when you fall short, I'm going to let you know. Is that fair?
I would expect that.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other comments pertaining to Chief's report? Thank you, Chief.
Wait, actually, I do have another question. I do have. Chief? On that roof you're talking about, how long that roof been leaking?
2001.
Yeah.
Since when?
Since the building was built.
2001. 26 years.
There's been replacements, there's been fixes, there's been all kinds of stuff done to it, but it's still leaking.
And it's still leaking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have mold?
We had a mold test done. It came back with regular spores and things of that nature, consistent with outside. That's all I can tell you about the test.
Has it gotten worse in the last 5 years?
Let me jump into at this point, because it's sort of appropriate, a number of things that the chief had mentioned. It's our intent to resolve this, and part of the resolution is to, next meeting, which is be 2 weeks from now, but those issues, they're talking about generators and those other things as part of the bond. So we will ask the council to vote on the bond amount so we can move forward with that. So it's our intent to fix those things that have been residual and from design, I guess, the best material will fail if the design is not right. But that's our intent to solve some of these things that have been recurring And it's our intent to move forward with the bond issue, because the longer we wait, we'll be replacing a building, not just a roof.
That's right.
So the question I'm asking again, has this been going on like this for the last 5 years?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the leak, yes.
Has it gotten worse?
I would say yes.
Have you told the administration about it?
We put it in the budget several times, yes.
And you put it in the budget, and what happened? It didn't go through?
Actually repaired one, I guess, the south wall where the flashing was done. Again, there's a technology, that is available today that wasn't available and wasn't as costly. But, I mean, there's the Duralast and some of these other things that have been done. And our intent is to do it, the latest and greatest technology, not only there, but at the West Biloxi Library, instead of gravel and rock and tar, to replace that, hopefully, one more time.
Okay. The question I'm asking you is this. If it hadn't been fixed properly 5 years ago, would we still have this trouble?
No, let me say this. I'm going to say it was fixed properly. To the technology it was. You can't fix a bad design. It's not going to hold forever. So, I mean, Christy, when was it we fixed? Balmer fixed it? 5 or 6 years ago. No, less than that.
The flashing and drains on the roof were redone.
I've heard people tell me over and over again, this just was bad from the beginning, it's never been fixed. So my problem is this. We're letting something go to the point, year after year after year. This has nothing to do with your authority, sir. But we're letting something go year after year after year till it's come to the point where we're costing the taxpayers many times. We have flat roofs, that roof design all over the country. But when they get a problem, they fix it properly. Right now, we're saying that we let something go bad and get worse and get worse. That's where I have a problem with. Let me finish, sir, please. I apologize, sir. As far as getting it fixed, whatever it takes, I'm going to support it. 100%. I just got a problem with wasting taxpayers' money, patching. I don't do that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. All right. Before we move to council reports, I just want to say this. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Rick, for each and every week. It seems like we're having these focused departmental reports, and they're really helpful and useful in us getting the information and being able to interact with you. Okay, council reports. We'll start with Mr. Nail today.
Mr. Nail.
Mr. Nail.
Oh, shoot.
He said
Caught you off guard.
Caught me off guard. Look, I was just going to say that it's been almost a year since we've been here, and I still don't have the bathrooms fixed at Hiller Park. The boards on the bridges are still broke. The pavilion's not been painted. Broadwater's not been cleaned up yet. What is people going to think that I'm trying to do? I've been telling y'all to do this. It's not getting done. I don't know what else to tell them. You know, they calling me, asking me, when's the bathroom's going to be fixed? I don't know. You know, we're in June now, summertime, and I don't know what to tell them. You know, I thought maybe y'all could tell them. You know, they're watching right now.
Knights Peter Claver was actually participating in that repair as of last week, or a couple of weeks ago.
No, we did. We did get the roof fixed on the bathroom.
Yep.
We did have a plumber come out and tell us approximately what it would cost. The next step is pulling the trigger, looking for the funding to fund that job. Last he told us the quote was around $10,000 to go in there and do that. Then it was also going in there and building the entryway because you can just see right through into the doors. That was something that we would probably have to do in-house. My people in the department who are able to do that is busy cutting grass right now. So it's hard to find the time to get all of this done. I'm not trying to make excuses for this, but it is a process that we are going through. The only thing that I ask is please be patient, and I will try to get on that and see if I can't get a better answer before next council meeting about exactly what it's going to take and when we can get those back open.
What about the boards on the bridges that's just been hanging there?
That is on our list too. It is. But like I said, you know.
That's kind of a safety issue, too.
It is. So I know it's something that needs to be addressed, and we'll look and see if we can't get on that initially and get the boards fixed due to that fact, and then we can focus our efforts maybe on those restrooms.
Okay, all right,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nail, on that, you've been here as long as I've been here, so we've been working through these financial issues, but you also have to remember that we've got 3 new department directors as well, too. So, yes, I hold them accountable for that, but as we move forward through here, those are also going to be things that we take a look at this budget year as well, too. So please, if you'll get with me and go ahead and we'll line those up, and we'll try to do the best that we possibly can as we spread that across the entire city. But those are things that I asked, but we are doing a lot. If you looked at Pass Road today, I think you saw it was nicely cut and edged, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw some positives out there as well as the negatives, but I appreciate that. And if they have any comments or concerns, please, as the Chief Administrative Officer, my phone is always open, and I return the majority of the phone calls that I get back on a daily basis. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. And Jerry, on some of these neighborhoods that has houses they're not been lived in for 10 years, is there any way we can do something about that?
Well, it's
Is there a law or?
It's not a code violation to have an empty house, but if the house has code violations, we can address those. You know, years ago, there was discussion about a vacancy tax or something like that, but that didn't go anywhere. But realistically, unless there's a clear code violation there, it's something we can't address.
We can't board them up, and because you know the people.
We could have them boarded up if there are signs that people are going in and out of them, and we do that all the time.
Because see, the people that own these houses, they don't live in that neighborhood, so they don't get to see what the people see every day when they come home.
Okay. If you'll give me some addresses, we'll jump right on it. Okay.
All right, thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Nail. Mr. Creel.
All right. Jamie, real quick on, thanks very much for the expedited service on the Margaret Sherry Porter let out there, getting out there and having that addressed. It was in some bad shape. So thank you for taking care of that first thing in the morning on Monday. As we talk, the playground and especially the splash pad needs some attention. I know the weather's been holding you up. I just wanted to make sure that per our discussion that I just reminded you of the attention it needs out there. Back to, and I appreciate that, Jamie. So back to, and thank you for the litter patrol today at the Causeway. I noticed that as well. So thank you very much. Rick, thank you and Christy for the grass cutting on Pops Ferry Road. Looked really good, Jamie. That was good stuff out there as well. So we appreciate that. Chief, if I could, I received a call about some speeding on Baywood north of Rustwood Drive. It's getting, especially with the kids out of school now, I think it's getting a little worse, but it's more dire now that the kids are in the neighborhoods. So they were asking possibly about speed control on that. And then they also were asking about if we can evaluate that two-way stop at Rustwood and Baywood to see if possibly expanding it to a four-way stop as well. But I told them that would be addressed with you and Jerry and Christy in the traffic committee. So if you could add that to that, I'd appreciate it.
Talking about two-way stop, making it a four-way stop.
Right, yeah, there's a two-way stop there currently. Baywood stops, Rustwood keeps going. So they're, and I don't know if it's feasible just because how close it is to Pops Ferry Road. Coming off Pops Ferry Road, it's maybe a house and a half before you get to that intersection. So I don't know if it's feasible, but I told them that I would at least address it with you guys.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. And then now, Mr. Jerry, if we could, this is what I've been advised to bring today, is if we could charge the Planning Commission to implement a requirement for a traffic study on new developments, both commercial and residential. I'm not on the Planning Commission, and I don't want to come up with any stipulations or requirements. I believe that would be something that those guys are in tune to do. So if they could come up with something to present to us, or going forward with future developments based on size, based on cost, if we could throw the traffic studies in, that way we're not fumbling around trying to find funding for them going forward when we run into situations.
We can do that, yes.
All right, and then real quick, I just wanted to follow up, and I know this between you and Peter, on the increase on administrative fees for code enforcement for repeat offenders. I know we had discussed that, but I think that's internal in policy, rather.
I'm still trying to get a little more data, but we should have some recommended numbers within the next week or two.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so real quick here, we got, I'd like to thank our partners with the Mississippi Gulf Coast National Heritage area that is helping us with the grant money for the Fred Hayes Landing down there, helping us with the funding, with the mural, and with the sign as well. I want to thank you guys for appointing your members to the Beautification Commission and their work on this project that is really grabbed some legs, and it's coming at the end of this month. We're going to have a big deal out there. Supervisor Cuevas, thank you very much for the county's work down there on that boardwalk, and for your support as well with the county down there with Fred Hayes Landing coming up. Right now, the countdown's underway. You know, the unveiling of the new sign and the moonwalk is coming June 27th at 1 p.m. We'll have Fred Hayes in-house. He'll be over at the Visitor Center, and then we'll have more about that when it gets closer to it. And with that being said, I want to congratulate John Mayer and Cecilia as well. Thank you, Mayor and administration, and thank you, Councilman, for supporting the resolution to get this continually sent to people's house, especially this month. Like you guys have mentioned so many times thus far, it is hurricane season, and that's what this is in. If you look at it, this is right here, your hurricane preparedness. This is what we need. This is in every household, so everyone needs to get this. As well as I said, don't forget about my Fred Hayes right here. We got him coming up. It's a good thing, good piece of literature. Thank you guys for your support to keep it being mailed, and thank you guys for supporting the resolution. That's all, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Crew. Mr. Tisdale.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Public Works. We had a water line rupture on Westview Drive. It was a pretty one in the middle of the day, and I gave Christie a heads up, and they sent a crew out, and it was done that day. Boil water notice, which is a pain in the neck, and I think that was lifted maybe 30 hours later. I mean, it was quick, following the procedures that you had. So thank you very much, and thank that crew for doing that. The south side of Howard Avenue, there's no parking now. Why do we do that?
Yes, sir, there are parking on the south side of Howard Avenue. If you'll take a look, it goes a little north and then some on the south, on the north. We have set up for the last 6 months and worked through the downtown merchants. Those were the things that were requested in those meetings that Councilman Gray and Councilman Marshall both attended as well. And we've laid those maps out. I want to say last month, Councilman Krill, I think I brought the map to lay out to show you all where we were doing those changes. So what that does allow is for the merchants to be able to have customers coming in, because what was happening, according to the merchants at the meetings, was your full-time employees were parking in those spots. So we have broken them up now to where we can do those. And where you have the X out, that's not where you just can't park, but you can pull in for a few minutes and unload or whatever. But it also allows for that to open up for the people to do and see, and the safety side of it. As we run through, when you got vehicles on both sides, If you have a child shoot out of one of those stores, there's nothing else that's going to stop them in between that. So from the merchant standpoint, they were looking at how do we able to move people in and out as a customer. And then from a safety standpoint, we took a look at it of not only having the traffic to be able to go two ways, but if you have a child that runs out, what's going to happen then?
Yeah, let me jump in too, Rick, on this. Let's go back to, I think, the mid-'70s when Rue Marché was invented, okay? It was only one-way traffic, one way. And things that we reversed in 2017, where we did, as our history dictates our future. So we replaced those things that Urban Renewal put out there to allow development of Howard Avenue and those shops. So there's not always the story is always told about the problems we have. We have problems. Today, vehicles are bigger. Okay, so parking on both sides has presented a problem every day when a SUV or a truck comes alongside each other. Somebody's got to alternate. So the idea, and again, tomorrow we're going to have the downtown people come and have a full picture of the people who indicated we needed to do something on parking on both sides. So the striped parking is alternated from Raynor Street all the way to Main Street. And again, as Rick said, 15 minutes, 30 minutes in the striped area to make it convenient, or on the other side, one or the other, there'll be permanent parallel parking, and we have some plans to increase the angle parking towards the west side of the hospital. So there are some more plans to increase even that capacity. But again, parking on both sides presented a danger as well as a convenience when big side mirrors come alongside each other. So that the time has changed. That's not the same problem. Lemieux Street is wider than Howard Avenue. We got parking on both sides, but never had that problem we have on Howard Avenue.
But we did listen to the people on that, Councilman Tisdale, and that's what was requested throughout those meetings. And I have two of the other councilmen that sat through those meetings, and they saw that those were requested. So that's what we did, was based off the request forward over a 6-month period of time. And it wasn't anything that we kept hidden. We advertised that. We showed it. And we even actually did from Lemieux to Maine about a month in advance just to get it out there, knowing that the rest of it was done as well, too. And I know you and I have had conversations about that as well, sir.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting to be old. We may have, I don't recall one, but we might well have. How many, so if I understand correctly, there are fewer parking spots now in that old section of Howard Avenue, the Rue Marché. There are fewer parking spots now than there were. How many parking spots did we lose in that area?
You lost possibly maybe 10 total, no handicapped, anything such as that. We made certain that there were no handicapped spots that were lost. So we may have lost 10, but we also have a project that we're taking a look at to add some as well over by the hospital, and we'll discuss that later on.
Okay. And you said that the businesses in that section of Howard Avenue, they were all contacted, had input, whatever?
Had the opportunity to come to a meeting in this very building a number of times.
We've been discussing this for the last 6 months, and on those meetings that we let y'all know about.
All right, I don't have any recollection of that. That's, honestly. Prevagen. What's his name? Who's the funny guy? What's his name? It would be great. Sometimes some council members are involved in some things, sometimes we aren't, but are y'all hiding things from me? But I'm wondering, it would be great. I didn't know anything about it till it blew up on Facebook. And I don't pay a whole lot of attention to Facebook, but I'm thinking if we're trying to get folks downtown, they have to have a place to park, all right? And my
That's what we were trying to do, because if you take a look right now and you go see the parking spots that are there, the majority of the parking spots are tied up either by, and I'll just say it, the hospital staff is tying a lot of them up, and the businesses are tying a lot of them up. This was made to make sure that the customers that are coming in for the merchants were able to utilize these spots, drop people off in front of those spots. And again,
So there's a plan, and I appreciate that. But when you mention the hospital, we're working with the hospital administration. I mean, they've got a parking garage over there. I don't know how many could park there. And
spoke with Ms. Spears just the other day.
I mean, it'd be great if their employees would just put a decal on their bumper or whatever, park in the parking garage, or whatever. Employees parking in front of the place where they work, I understand how that might be an issue. Thank you for that. And if you sent me an email in a slow moment, Rick.
It was an email. I discussed it here and actually laid out the maps during a council meeting, and you were attending. And we've discussed it in multiple other times and venues. Any comments, Mr. Gray? You want to bail me out of this or not?
No.
I'm gonna let you hang yourself.
No, if you would, just send me the date of the meeting where that occurred. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yes, sir, I'll do the research.
And I'll go back and find the video.
Yes, sir, I'll do the research.
We have another meeting tomorrow, too.
Actually, it was just a couple meetings ago, 2 or 3 meetings ago, Rick brought it in and asked everybody about the new plan and rolled it out. The only thing we can really look at doing, if you go through there now, and I don't want to, hope I'm not interrupting, you can actually see businesses that you couldn't see before because there's a big old Suburban or something blocking it. They're probably actually, if they give it a little time, they may pick up business because people can actually see them now. Maybe we need to look at doing meters, parking meters in there. I mean, whatever way you do it, they're gonna be mad. So, I mean, we're trying to help them get more customers. They took out some on one side, but there's a whole lot on the other side. So, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. And
No, that's fine. No biggie. I'm just drawing a blank. Chief D-Beck, if you don't mind, you don't need to come up. Anything you can do to help reduce the speeding problem on Pine Grove Avenue. It's the same situation that's been evident there for the last dozen years. It's the residents from Maison d'Orleans coming through Mercury Lane down to Pine Grove just to get to Highway 90 fast and avoid the speed bumps on that private road between the south end of Maison d'Orleans and the Waffle House. That's, we tried putting a fence up there. We couldn't do that, had to take the fence down. And the only way that's going to have any impact is if some folks are issued tickets during, drive time in the morning and the afternoon. But I've had a complaint, and I have complaints about that periodically, and I know this is nothing new. So anything you can do to help those folks is going to be greatly appreciated. That's all I have that I can remember that I wanted to ask.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale.
All right.
Mr. Gray.
All right, I'm not going to touch on the parking, so I think it was covered enough. I'd like to ask administration, look in some titlings. I know they got some programs out there for the playground equipment. Maybe we can look at that for Point Cadet. Try to look at maybe seeing what we can get to help out there. The blessing of the fleet, I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, a lot of people, seen a lot of boats decorated, and that was over the last few years has not been there. That's hopefully it's coming back. If we don't get out and support it, it's going to be dying. So, I mean, the Great Deer Island was packed. Shrimp boats was decorated. It looked great. Billfish Classic is this weekend. It started today, matter of fact, down at behind the Golden Nugget. All kind of festivals is going on. Weigh-in is Saturday and Sunday. It got pushed back for the bad weather that we're going to be having offshore. So they kind of pushed it off. Awards are going to be Monday. I'd like to thank Harrison County Supervisor Dan Quave. You're going to see on this resolution where they're giving us some, they're going to loan us some equipment, bring some equipment out to help with Danella Park, try to get the playgrounds leveled out from being all unlevel for the kids. Thank y'all. Appreciate you and all the other supervisors who stepping up doing this. We know y'all don't have to, but we know y'all care. Thank y'all. I'd like to get some no dumping signs on Back Bay. Where the bridge is closed, somebody went in there and probably dumped 3 or 4 trailer loads of garbage. It just seems like when we clean one up, somebody dumped something. I went through there, I couldn't find any addresses on it, but if we can get maybe some signs in there. Christy, can you give me an update on Comfort Street? That does, laying that out. I know Harrison County is going to help us on that also, so they're waiting on us.
Yeah, I'll touch base with Robert. I know I told you I'd do that last week, and I failed to get an update for you on that, but I will touch base and find out where he is on marking out that right away.
Okay, thank you. Jerry, you got an update on vacating that section by that big oak tree?
We're working on that.
Okay, thank you. I know we have a little meeting tomorrow. Me and Mike Nell, Rick, Jamie Lee, we have a group wanting to come in and start a vegetable garden at Hilo Park. So we're gonna come in and see what they have and see what we can do to help the citizens of Biloxi with some fresh vegetables. Hopefully we can work this out. The next thing is the homeless. We have businesses that are starting to write letters to these people that stay in a van in their car, has been there for a long time. Me and Chief D-Back, I mean, we've been trying to fight this. I reached out to Jerry about this. I don't know how do we get these people to stop writing letters to help them, or what? I mean, hopefully we can get some kind of solution. I don't know, Jerry, have you anything on that one? With the code enforcement, I mean, are they running the hotel there? I mean, I mean.
I'm sorry, which property are we talking about? I was right.
The one on Howard Avenue, where they got the van parked, and they wrote a letter to the people.
We got that reported today that somebody was living in there in a RV. Is that what you're?
It's a van.
Okay.
A little small van.
Howard Avenue, yes.
Right.
And I told the code enforcement officer to go write it up because it's not zoned for it and it's not allowed.
Right, and
So-
we have some of the business owners around there that are females, and they're scared. They don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
You know, they've been there for about a month. We've been trying to get them out. Christy back in the police department has been trying to fight this same issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're starting to get them underneath the bridge on Esther right there. I mean, they're just starting to pop up. We got to figure out, get control of this now, sooner than later, because it's going to really get out of control if they know they can do it. And so we have to have some kind of, the business owners don't want it. And, I mean, these people are scared. I'm getting numerous calls from ladies that I got to go to work by themselves and stay in a building by themselves. So
I'll get with my people in the morning, make sure that that's addressed. Anywhere we have that, it's addressed.
Okay, thank you. Jamie Lee. I'm just going to be easy on you. Update on Point Cadet. I know you've been working with Public Works, and y'all been trying to.
Right. And I apologize to you, we didn't have a chance to go down there today. Once again, don't want to make excuses, but we're trying to catch back up with grass cutting and things that we missed last week. But it is on our schedule to get down there to see, you know, what can we do? How can we remove that playground possibly in-house, at least get it cleared and possibly get concrete put over it, have some options, and figure out primarily what the cost is going to be.
Right.
You know, doing it in-house, removing the structures, that may not be that bad, or possibly seeing if we can remove the structures to be used elsewhere. That could be an option as well. It's just, you know, until we start getting into it and start removing the demolition, we don't know what we're going to find or what we're going to be able to use.
Right. I mean, that playground's been there, what, 20 years? Or 18, 17 years, so it's full of salt water.
Oh, that's right. And I mean, anything you put in that environment, it's just a matter of time before it deteriorates and it becomes unsafe, which it is right now. You know, and that's why we have it closed. And, you know, we still get many calls, why is it not open? Why is it not open? Well, you know, it's unsafe, and that's why we barricaded it off, put the no trespassing or playground closed signs all around it until we can figure out how we're going to get it out of there.
Right. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Marshall?
Jamie?
Yes, sir.
All right. On one of the complaints we're getting a lot of is back on the homeless again. When your people are cleaning the parks, they're coming through pretty regularly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If they find anything in the park that's not attached to that park, can they take it with them? They're in the pickup truck. I don't want them to put it in the trash can. I need them to take it with them. Clothing, food bags. They go get food from places, and they go get clothing, and whatever they got, their backpacks, things like that. The problem is, if my child was there playing, and some person, a drug addict, had their personal bag hidden behind a pole while they go off somewhere, any child can get that, whatever that drug addict has in there, they can kill that child. That's not a safe park. And we're not a place to hold people's belongings. So when your people go there to clean up, can they take it with them, away from their park? Any furniture that they find, I hate to say this, they find furniture there. I don't know where these chairs are coming from. I mean, like not like lawn chairs, office chairs. Take it with them. Please don't put it in the trash can, because the homeless person just going to come back there and dig it back out the trash can again. The electricity, I discussed it with you before, the electricity that's in Bush Park. Had you looked at that?
That was handled. Yes, sir. Breakers are cut off. It's locked up.
The breakers are cut and it's locked up.
That was a lot easier fix than we anticipated, so we got that done.
Okay. All right. Also, when your guys get through cleaning up the parks, there's like 4 different gates over at Bush Park. Ask them to please close the gates when they get through. One of the senior citizens called me. I guess that's her pet peeve. She said what happens is dogs go in and out the gate. So if you close the gate behind them, she said they clean the park, they walk right out and left the gate open. So I guess she's watching her park. That's her job, and I appreciate her doing it. The building in Henry Beck Park, what's your plan for that?
I know we had met about it and talked about doing some of the initial safety checks, getting that squared away. We're still working on those. And then once we get those primary needs taken care of, then it's looking at what it's going to take. Whenever we met a few weeks back, a month or so ago.
Right.
And then try to figure out, you know, what is needed, whether, you know, we decide to remove the back porch off of that house or not, or, you know, rehabilitate it, rebuild it. You know, that's just going to be a decision which will have to be made at that time.
The citizens of East Biloxi want it fixed. They don't want to lose the building. Can you and I and
right and
Ms. Christie get together? Can we get together within the next week, possibly this week, meet out there and get a game plan together for the building?
Just a question. I mean, are we talking about the porch on the north side, or are we talking about the building itself?
The building itself?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had any plans of demolishing that building, just due to, I believe the organization uses it for meetings and things like that, but there was never any discussion that I remember of removing or demolishing that building itself.
Okay.
Just some of the porch on the north side that's in bad shape.
So we okay with meeting out there? You okay with meeting us out there? And
what was that time again?
Whenever you tell me, I'm good.
I'll check with Director Labonta and we'll let you know.
Okay, what about my gates? I've been here for a year. We're almost a year now. I asked about them gates.
Right. We put the barricades out there temporarily. Do you know if they're being used or not, being put across the drive to keep people from going in?
No, sir, what I want to know about is the gate. Are we going to get the gate fixed? Are we going to
The
fix it
roll
up?
gate?
Yeah, the gate. We need a real gate there. I understand the barracks are just for temporary,
Right.
okay? And then really not being used. It's not as effective as I would hope. But
Are they being put across the drive, though, at night to keep people from going in and out? Do you know?
no, sir, they're not.
They're not?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
I know we were looking at that for a temporary fix till we could figure out how to do some concrete work, because once we pull that gate across, then of course the sidewalk's gonna need to go in front of that gate.
So that will be something me and you and Ms. Labate, we can get out there and...
We can look at that when we meet out there.
Okay, so I need a game plan on that. The temporary thing is not working. You know, unless I get up out of my bed, go out there at night and put it across there. I don't think we got the labor or the people to do that. So it's really not working. I did consider it, but I decided we're gonna get a gate, gonna get it fixed. Okay? All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bate.
I thought I was going to get lucky.
You are lucky. Anytime I'm sitting here talking to you, you're lucky. Remember, I'm the film director. I tell people all the time, anytime you're able to talk to me, you blessed. All right. On the paving and pothole, we're going to get something going over there in East Biloxi. East Ward and my ward, we have no paving going on. Okay, give me a list of the streets that we're going to go fix some potholes in.
You know
He
what?
probably don't need anything in Ward 1.
Oh, no, I need a lot.
No, he don't need that. But can we get a list together, say, we have this list, and we're gonna be going through. I can tell the people that they're on the list, and we're gonna be coming through at a certain time.
We have a list of paving that's kind of been on hold for, waiting for the MIMA money to come through and stuff. So I think somebody else asked me for that list too. So I'll get that compiled together, get the cost updated, and get that out to all of you.
Okay, you have a time frame on that?
Yeah, I can have that to you probably the end of this week for sure. I just need to check the cost. If the costs are still good, I can have it to you by the end of the day.
Money's no option. Money's no option. We good.
I love it.
On the Henry Beck building, you okay with meeting us out there to figure that out?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm good. Police chief, I know. There's a silver van that's parked right outside it's been parked up under the bridge by the farmer's market. No, it's a little Dodge van. Can you see what needs to be done to ask that person to keep moving? We're trying to make sure that our farmer's market is safe. We're trying to make sure that,
Take care.
it just shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there. I've asked them already. I've talked to them, and it just needs to be, something needs to be done about that one. As far as the homeless under the bridge and everything, the bridge is classified as a park. We got the skateboarders there. I've talked to some of them, and they're unhappy with it also. And we need them there. We need them in an orderly fashion. So if you can figure out a way to come up with a plan and say, hey, they need to keep moving. If they go there to skate or enjoy the park where they're supposed to, they'll share their time and their space with people that they're not even contributing to society any kind of way. I understand people are having a hard time. I understand that. We're not saying go out there and harass them. We just ask them to keep moving so that the people can enjoy the park for the purpose of it being a park.
All right, we'll take care of it.
Okay. Also, I know that, if I ride by and I see someone laying on a table in a park, can you ask the officers, and if they ride by, they're looking at that park, they see somebody just laid out on that table or on that bench, ask them to move. It's not what that table's designed for. And when I told you before, I'm going to stand behind you 100%. I really mean it. Okay? Do we have for the bathroom situation at the skate park? Where we at with that?
Bathroom situations. What are you talking about?
Ms. Labate? Maybe Ms. Labate. I thank you, Chief.
I don't think we've come up with any solution. I think we talked about putting a portalette there, but that has not happened yet. So let me do some more research on that and figure out what we want to do.
Mr. Gray, what are you thinking?
I'll tell Blaine to Main Street. Anybody from Main Street that can address that, the bathroom situation underneath there?
I don't know.
I know this has come up a lot with me also, with the residents are complaining, all these kids, 100 kids out there, no place to use a bathroom.
I will say, this is not the bathrooms, but we are working on the shielding the lights some. I know we've had some complaints from the neighbors about the lights.
Yeah.
And we're working on putting some shields and some timers on those lights too. Just
Okay, thank you.
We do rent portalettes for any special events or anytime we know that we're going to have more than normal people. We're actually renting a portalette for next weekend for them. But right now, they will just need to go somewhere else nearby. Usually there's just a handful of them at a time.
Right.
So, but right now, we've rented portalettes before in the past for like at the farmer's market that stays there permanently. And the problem is when you put portalettes under there and you leave them permanently, they don't last very long because the homeless destroy them. And then the people that are using the farmer's market or coming to the farmer's market or coming to the skate park or doing other things, they don't want to go in them because the homeless have used them. So that's where we've ran into in the past. So until we can get some more permanent plans for the skate park, which we're trying to do that, right now that's the best that we can do.
Thank you, ma'am. Next thing on my list is going to be the library on Pass Road. I've gotten some compliments. However, I'm smart enough to know that I only address the issue verbally, and the person who got behind this issue and really stuck it and fought for this would be Mr. Nail. And I think he missed going over the calendar of events that's going on there, because these events, if you don't mind me just saying before I turn it over to him to finish out, when he gets finished, I'll be through. These events would have been missed if he had not have stuck his weight into this to make sure that their library opened back up, which is one of the core things that Mr. and Mrs. Biloxi pays for. Mike now.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, they opened up the children's reading classes started today. So the kids can go in there and they party and read and all that. I went in there and looked at them today, and they were having a good time. So I'm glad it's open. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Shoemaker, I promise to come back to you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to go quick. I've got a handful of things tonight I was going to go over. I'll start out just Councilman Creel. My apologies first. Did you want to say something? My apologies.
Just real quick, one thing I failed to mention, next Tuesday, Ward 4 meeting, Margaret Sherry Library, 5 o'clock. Thank you.
And regarding something Councilman Creel said earlier about the traffic study, he and I discussed that. I think it's a great idea. So hopefully we can get that given to the Planning Commission and they can run with that, and we can start using that in the future for any developments. Cedar Lake Bridge tomorrow is scheduled to be having some repairs done on it from 9 to 2 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock, Cedar Lake Bridge tomorrow. However, depending on, I guess, how much rain we get tonight, if it floods tomorrow, if the river floods, then obviously that will be rescheduled and postponed again. If that's the case, we'll publish that as well. Hopefully not, because I know we've had to put that off a time or two, but if not, it will be closed from 9 to 2 tomorrow, Cedar Lake Bridge. regarding the parking at View Marche, I understand, I know we definitely needed some different parking arrangements there. My only, I guess, issue or suggestion would be, and let me preface it with this, I understand that the businesses there do have a meeting that they can attend, I think, once a month, but I don't believe all businesses, for whatever reason, they're not able to or don't attend them, and that's a short span. I just wish in the future, maybe if it's something like that, we can let them know prior to doing that, because I do know there was a couple businesses that weren't aware that that was going to happen, and I just think if they've got a business, we should try to let them know ahead of time that we're going to take parking. I think it needed to be done. I have no issues with that. It needed to be done. I just wish we could have given everybody, all the business owners, an opportunity to let their people know and maybe just give them a heads up prior to. Parks and Rec, I know sometimes I don't give kudos to all the departments, and sometimes I've probably a little hard lately on Parks and Rec, but I spoke with Director Lee 2 weeks ago today on a Tuesday about some concrete around the bathroom at Eagle Point Park, and it's done, completed, looks great, very functional, with the exception of some mud and dirt, which we can't do anything about because it's been raining for 2 weeks. He got it done within 2 weeks around the rain somehow, and honestly, a lot more than I thought you were going to get. I thought it was just going to be a little pad there, but you did a lot more than I thought, and it's a lot more functional than I was thinking, so thank you for that. That's kudos for getting that done too so fast. And lastly, I guess I'll bring up drainage, ditches, and culverts in Ward 7. You know, I know for probably, I hadn't mentioned it recently, but for probably close to a year, every council meeting, I know you guys got tired of hearing me say drainage, grass, ditches, and culverts. But for so long, that went on deaf ears. And honestly, really nothing ever got done. However, that being said, Director Labata took over, and Rick. And thank y'all, because a lot has been happening, and we've been getting a lot of things done. And I say this because I know, even for me, and I'm in the middle of it and involved with it, a lot of people don't see this because it's behind the scenes things that are happening. But in a lot of these, and what I learned, because I didn't know, some of these drainage and ditch issues are not a simple fix. There is a lot more involved, which takes a lot more time, and unfortunately a lot more money and funding. But I know we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks, and that's not why I'm bringing it up. What we've had is rain that is anywhere pretty much is going to flood in Ward 7, a little bit in Ward 6, but Ward 7 for sure. I mean, you know, it's drainage and ditches and culverts. That's what we have out there. And I'll just say this. Things are moving very slow, but things are happening. Again, with Rick and Director Labata, we've discussed this, we've talked about it for months and months. So and I know people are watching out in TV land as well, things are happening. It's just slow going because there's a lot of things with drainage and ditches, and the small things we can get done, and a lot of them, unfortunately, are bigger issues. But I just want to say that because I've been inundated, and I get calls all the time, honestly, about ditches and drainage, but I've been inundated recently about that. So we're working on it, and I know we've talked about it yesterday and today. All three of us have talked about it as recent as that. So just letting people know, we're talking about it, we're working on it. Hopefully things are coming. It's not as quick, because I'll say this too. We have our issues. Biloxi has our issues, and we have our shortcomings when it's come to repairing ditches and drainage and culverts in the past. But we're working through those now. So give us some time. We're working on them. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. Got a few things. I'm going to give my Saltwater Councilman report. And kick it off, of course, with the blessing of the fleet that was mentioned. Kudos and congratulations to King Greg Baker. He represented Biloxi tradition very well, and certainly his queen, Riley Merriman. She did a beautiful job as well. Wayne, I agree with you. The spirit and the tempo and the enthusiasm this year, been a few years since I felt the same energy and enthusiasm. I mean, every year, I'm not saying it has not been good, but this year it was something special. You could just feel the energy in the air. Spent a few hours actually with some of the shrimp boat captains and families, and I want to recognize, I just want to mention some of the boats. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I mean, we've had some amazing working boats here in Biloxi, and I'm just going to name a few of them: the Progress, the Bendora, the King Arthur, the Captain Blood. Of course, some people probably see Gunsmoke that's out there, Captain Justin. Of course, I got to mention Mark and Dawn. They're a hard-working family. You can get your fresh shrimp from their boat. They work real hard. And the Vicky G, and I want to mention the Vicky G because there was an article years ago. They were working around an area, some of you may or may not know where Creole Gap is, but this boat was working in that area, and they had what's called a braille catch or a braille haul. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. Mr. Marshall, you know what that is? That's pure shrimp. The net, it was only about a 44-foot net, and when they hauled it up, there was no bycatch or anything, and when they released it, normally in a good haul, you'll have 300 pounds of shrimp. That's a real good haul. They had over 1,000 pounds of shrimp in this one haul.
Clean drag.
Yeah, clean drag. So I wish plenty of braille hauls out there for the working boats that are waiting for that. They'll go out in this weather, believe it or not, too, and try to weather the storm to make their catches. We know what they're dealing with. Again, I appreciate the council committing to doing everything we can to support the national, the regional, and our local shrimpers. You mentioned the billfish tournament. They were supposed to have a crawfish boil tonight. I don't know if that's still on, Wayne. But there's captain meetings, I think, tomorrow that was scheduled. They'll have fish and oysters. DMR actually is cooking it. Pretty cool for them to get involved. And that'll be at Point Cadet Marina. They're supposed to have a band on Thursday, Rock and Dopsy. I know that's probably everybody's favorite band, right, Shoemaker? Is that your favorite band, Rock and Dopsy? But we're going to have a good time, and then we'll see what kind of record catches. I think there's still a lot of record fish for our billfish tournament down here compared to other billfish tournaments, and hopefully we'll see some records broken. Dan Cuevas was in the audience tonight. I crossed paths. There's Dan. Happened to cross paths last week at the Bow. We had the privilege of welcoming the assessors and collectors to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So hopefully they're doing a good job, and we can see some of that assessment and collections, help us out here. That was followed the following day. I was at the IP, and our fire chief was there, Chief Geyser, and we welcomed the fire chiefs to the IP having their summer convention. And they rotate the conventions. They don't have to choose Biloxi, but they love Biloxi because of our hospitality. I told a little story. I was preparing a speech for the fire chiefs, and I had my 4-year-old grandson, and he was in the house with me, and he said, "What you doing, Papa?" And I said, "I'm preparing for the fire chiefs." So he came back a little while later, and he had a little Indian headdress on, and he thought I was meeting the fire chiefs, and he said, where are y'all meeting at? And I said, I was trying to tell him the IP, and he kept shaking his head, like, no. And I said, why are you shaking your head, no, Trey? And he said, it's not the IP, Papa, it's the TP, so they got a big kick out of that, and we had a good time. So, Chief, I hope it was successful, and y'all did a lot of good networking. Biloxi Sportsplex. So, I kind of talk about the success over the last few months of Biloxi Sportsplex. They've had a great youth program this year, especially in baseball and girls softball. We solved a few problems temporarily with some mobile scoreboards. And on the weekends, we've been hosting these tournaments, and you've heard me talk about them and the economic impact. These are 2-day tournaments. Well, this coming weekend, we have a World Series tournament. That's a 4-day tournament. So the economic impact, those are real popular. They're real serious about these tournaments, and they'll be spending a lot of time, a lot of money on the coast, enjoying our ability to host those World Series tournaments. I think the next weekend we have another World Series tournament right behind it. 2 more weekends. We have 2 more World Series tournaments, so that's real good to see. The other thing, I'd like to ask some questions briefly of Director Creel, if you have a minute. And this has to do, and I got this call today, and I apologize, I haven't given a heads up like I normally try to do, but this was in regards to the process if I have a roof that I'm replacing, and the contractor has to pull a permit to replace or significantly repair the roof. And where do we come in? What is the process, and is it consistent with other sister cities that we don't normally just do an inspection once they pull a permit to replace a roof? That has to be called in. Am I accurate to say that?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so if there was any problems with the roof, that's a civil matter, or that's something that the owner and the contractor has to resolve?
It depends. If somebody does a roof without a permit, we don't know anything about it. We don't have anything in the system. If they do pull a permit, the responsibility is the contractor, just like on any other project, to call in the inspection when they get through. If they don't call it in, we're not aware that they finished, and we can't.
Is it a requirement, Director, to pull a permit if you're replacing a roof?
It is.
It's a requirement. What is the penalty if you don't pull the permit?
We'd write them a citation and we'd handle it just like we would any other.
How do we verify, because I've heard a recent report that somebody went and pulled the permit, but they pulled it and it was a different company, and they did the work under somebody else's permit. How do we match that up, or is there a verification process, or they just say, I'm with XYZ company and I want a permit and I pay my $100 and I get my permit?
For the most part, for contractors, we have a list of the people that can pull permits under that person's name.
Okay.
They provide that to us. In some cases, what will happen is if we have a contractor and someone else that comes in together frequently, then it could be that the permit was issued to the other person. But
so in order for me to pull a permit under a company name, I have to be an authorized person to pull that permit. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Is there any way I can circumvent that? I'd have to show ID or something?
Do people lie? Yes. Do contractors lie? Contractors sometimes will loan their license out to somebody. This doesn't happen frequently, but it does happen. And then what will happen is if that person that I loan that license to did something wrong and the contractor gets questioned about it, oh no, I never gave permission for that person to pull.
Is it a requirement if I pull a permit and I do work that an inspection is required by the city before it is signed off on some kind of way? Is that a requirement?
Close out every permit. We close out every permit, and it requires the contractor to call in for an inspection. We go out there and inspect it to make sure it meets code. If it does, we come back in, pass the inspection, it goes into the system.
All right, so if the contractor doesn't ever call in an inspection, how does the file get closed, and would there be an inspection before they close the file?
It's difficult for us to go through everything that we've got going on to see which ones were closed and which ones are not closed.
Okay.
We do depend on that property, that contractor to call in. But, typically what will happen, an owner will call us first and say, I just want to make sure before I pay this guy that the inspection was approved. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't happen.
If it's an open permit and the owner calls you and says, hey, look, I'm having problems with my roof, I can't contact the contractor, can the owner call for an inspection, or it has to be by the permitted company?
An owner can call for the inspection.
Okay.
We would have to honor them calling us to come out there and do a courtesy inspection.
Okay.
See if it was done right.
And if the inspection comes back with flaws, that you provide that report for the owner for a remedy? We don't penalize, or do we have the authority to penalize the contractor for not
Certainly, we can write them a
Okay.
citation for doing the job improperly. Typically, what we do is if the owner calls us, we go out there, we do the inspection, we do a correction notice on what does not meet code. We give that to the owner or the owner or the contractor so that they know what needs to get corrected.
Okay. That was it. I had a lot of questions I could not answer. I did direct them to your office, but they were still pushing me for some answers. I told them that I would be sure to make that part of my report.
We met with that group, that couple today.
Okay.
I went over everything with them about what they need to do.
Fair enough. Thank you, Director. That concludes my report. If we move on to you're going to be up in a minute, Director, be ready. This is the public agenda. If the clerk would read the item for the public hearing.
Public hearing to consider an appeal filed by Chris Short, Laurie Hodge, and Barbara Glass requesting the reversal of the Planning Commission's decision to approve a requested tree removal application for the removal of 39 protected trees upon Lot 23 of Hawk Creek subdivision.
All right. Thank you for that. Do we need a motion to approve the public hearing, or we just open it? Okay. Before I open the meeting, I just want to lay some of the ground rules down. We have, once we open the meeting, strictly 30 minutes total. There'll be some opening remarks by Director Creel. That does not, the clock doesn't run until he finishes his opening remarks. Then there'll be 10 minutes for the appellants, 15 minutes for the proponents, and 5 minutes for a rebuttal. Mr. Creel, if you do your opening remarks.
The appeal before you tonight, this case actually started on the Hawk Creek subdivision in April of 2025. The developer filed an application to remove some trees. That went before, it required a public hearing. It went before the Planning Commission. It went before the Tree Committee on October the 1st of 2025 and was approved for 02. October, it went before the Planning Commission for their public hearing, October 16th, 2025, and it was approved by the Planning Commission 12/02. That case was appealed to the City Council, and in November of 2025, the City Council upheld the appeal. The applicant refiled to come back to the Tree Committee again with a slightly revised design. It went to the Tree Committee again and was approved 5-0. It went to the Planning Commission in April of 2026 and was approved 12-0. And one of the things that we noticed is that there were questions about the number of trees that needed to be included. So I worked with the developer to make sure that we included all trees in the application. He withdrew that application and resubmitted it. What we did is we took the clusters of trees that were out there, and there were several clusters of trees, and we counted each of those as an individual tree, and that's how the total went from 27 to 39, is we didn't want to leave any questions out there about how many trees were actually going to be removed. So the appeal before you tonight is concerning 39 trees proposed for removal, some protected, some not protected. They're proposing to remove 39 trees, of which 35 are protected trees and 4 are unprotected trees. The trees being removed are necessary because they are located within the area that must either be reshaped for the drainage and the infrastructure on the property, or they are located near or inside the footprints of the proposed houses. The developer is actually saving 38 existing trees and has agreed to mitigate for the removal of the 39 by planting 79 protected trees to include live oaks and southern magnolia. The application went to the Tree Committee. This application went to the Tree Committee on May the 6th and was approved 4-0-1. And on May the 7th, the public hearing was held before the Planning Commission and was approved by a vote of 11-1. There was one letter of opposition presented at the Planning Commission public hearing, but no one showed up to oppose the project or oppose the trees being removed. Since the public hearing, 3 letters of appeal have been received, which prompted this hearing. And if you'll notice in those 3 letters, they basically are the same language. It just has different names on it if you read the text. The preliminary plat for Hawk Creek has already been approved, and the project is being held up pending the outcome of this appeal hearing. I just want you to know that Brad Manis, our consulting arborist, is in the audience. He's actually walked the property. I met today with Lauren Erickson, who is the regional tree person for the state of Mississippi. He's walked the property. He's looked at the trees that are there, condition of the trees. There's nothing in the letters that addresses the condition of the trees that are being removed. It's all about other things other than the trees. I'll be happy to get up at the end of the arguments and answer any questions about the process you might have. So that being said, that's why we're here now.
Thank you, Director. We'll now open the meeting. 10 minutes for the appellants.
Everybody, I apologize. I'm not well-spoken, and
You'll do fine. Just your name and address for the record. And
Christopher Short. I wanted to thank Mr. Marshall. I apologize, like I said. Your speech on the sidewalks was very moving because we're having the same problems now. Mr. Shoemaker, about the flooding, I appreciate your talking about that. Mr. Fofo, I apologize, I'm short and I couldn't really see who was talking. I think you were talking about the traffic problems downtown Biloxi, where you had to pull over the side of the road to let other people go, because we're having the same problem there too. Excuse me, I had AI help me write this, so I apologize. But we're having a fishing rodeo at Merritt Lake next week. Y'all are invited. As long as it rains, it'll be flooded there. So we're gonna have people bring fishing poles and let the kids fish, because we got a real bad drainage problem. If you don't know where that is, it's right outside. It's on the corner of the, I apologize, of the subdivision, because everything they do, it just moves the water from either the flooding the road or flooding the sidewalk, or is flooded where the sidewalk is missing about 15 feet where nobody can use the sidewalk. The trees are, I kind of know that the subdivision is going to go in progress, no matter what my feeling is or what y'all's feelings are, it's going to go in. But the problem is we're having so much problems with the buildings as they are now. We got the streets are too small. They don't meet requirements. The sidewalks are substandard. I mean, you can't use the sidewalks because there's a break in it. So what are you going to do? Walk through the ditch and around to get on the other side of the sidewalk? Kind of washes away the whole use of the sidewalk. Am I wrong? Coming out of Eagle Point, if it rains at all, you got to let cars rotate to get past the flooded water. When they cut down the trees, we're going to have the noise from the whole interstate. The only thing that's protecting us now is the trees from the noise. I apologize, I'm jumping back and forth. My wife gets aggravated about that. And they're planning on, if I'm not mistaken, around 50 houses, which is roughly about 75 to 100 cars on Willow Lawn Road. So right now, if a good-sized truck, because they're going to need building trucks to haul lumber and all in, you got to pull on the side of the road for it. And if we don't table this now to get everything fixed, What purpose do they have to fix it after they made the money? After they make the money, they're on to the next project and the next project. So then, I'm not sure how it works, but I think they have a certain amount of time, then the city of Biloxi is responsible for the road, am I not mistaken? I mean, they were supposed to put in culverts, they were supposed to put in drains and everything else. There's nothing. So if they didn't do it on the first phase, why are they going to do it on the come back and do it on the second phase? So, I mean, people spend a lot of money on their houses. I mean, some houses are more expensive than others, but they are entitled to peace in their house. And you got interstate noise, because I've already been told nobody's going to put up a sound barrier. So the only other option is trees. So, and if you know, I'm no arborist, I'm not highly educated like a lot of y'all are here, and I apologize, but I do know you got to have something to stop the sound. The streets are flooding. People are walking these streets for exercises in the mornings and all, and you're going to double, triple, because this isn't the only subdivision going in that area. I'm not mistaken. We're looking at what, another 300 houses, 200, 300 houses? And the roads don't even meet the standards y'all set. So how are you expanding everything without meeting the standards that y'all set? I mean, no curbs, no drains, no nothing. And like you said, we have a drainage problem. What is 50 more houses without the proper drainage going to be? And like Mr. Fofo said, my wife drives an extra 20 minutes because she will not drive on Willow Line because it freaks her out driving with the big truck there. And how long is it going to take for 50 houses to be built on Willow Line? So my wife and every other person that's afraid of big trucks, and it's not like we have room on the side of the road to pull over. I mean, we need a lot of infrastructure before we get this done. I'm not saying cancel it because it ain't going to be canceled. I'm just saying table it till we fix the problems so we're not left with the misery and y'all move to the next project. Because y'all even said we need studies done on the infrastructure, the roads and all. Why not start now? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for any extra favors or any extra things. Just start, but y'all telling everybody out on the Biloxi and everybody on the thing that y'all want to improve this, then let's do it. Why start next week? Why start next month? Let's just get the studies done, the road improved. We know that's going to be done. Just make it easier for everybody. Get the infrastructure before y'all are trying to get the money. And like Mr. Marshall, you don't want drug addicts and all homeless people on the sidewalks. We want sidewalks. We have 10 foot of sidewalks, a 10-foot break, then another 10 foot of sidewalks. They need a sidewalk over the ditch that's not even going to be big enough to handle the water on the overflow. So what good is that sidewalk? I mean, we don't want homeless either, but at least y'all have sidewalks you can use. We don't. And Mr. Fofo, like you said, I mean, cars are bigger today, right? So how big is a truck, a 6-wheel truck bringing in wood? My wife drives a Toyota minivan on a road that don't even qualify to be, wouldn't be built today. But they have a chance, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't the builder supposed to modify the roads to meet requirements to handle the extra people? So why aren't y'all holding them to the standard? Why did y'all let them finish? And Meritage Home didn't have the first section. They bought the company afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, am I right? But if you buy a business, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you buy the business, you buy the problems that comes with the business. Just, you want to make a name for yourself, fix the problems before you build you expand. That's all we're asking. Is that asking too much? I apologize, I went way off.
No, you did well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak with the remaining time allotted for the appellate? How much time we got? I can't see. Got about a minute left. Anybody want to speak? 10 seconds. Excuse me. You got 10 seconds. Quickly.
Lori Hodge, I live in Eagle Point, and I've been there since 1994. I built my home and raised my children there. It's a lovely neighborhood. And just as Mr. Short said, the infrastructure is not made for all of these houses to be in here. There should not have been any certificates of occupancy granted to any of those homes before the sidewalks were put in. They're only big enough for barely for a stroller. They're broken up already. They're not even 6 months old.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And there's a lake at the four-way stop that needs to be fixed.
Thank you. All right, we now have 15 minutes allotted for the proponents.
Good evening. I'm Jordan Birch with Meritage Homes, and Director Creel did a good job of explaining kind of the procedure or history on kind of how we got here. Just to kind of sum that up a little bit, we have gone through 3 tree committees and 3 planning commissions, and each one of those has resulted in adjustments that we've made to the plan, specifically to try to accommodate comments that we've received to, I guess, incorporate things that were valuable feedback that we got from the community. And the first one was this anchor tree, hard to see, but what you'll see is there's a massive anchor that is grown up within the tree, and that was right in the middle of one of our primary access roads. And so as you can imagine, diverting that and readjusting it came at quite the effort. We went ahead and we diverted that road to save that tree, and that's something that, sitting here today, I know that I've talked to some of you up here, like we're proud of that. That wasn't something, once we figured out that that was there, it wasn't something that we fought. We immediately went around and turned around and made that happen, and we have some great plans that we're going to work on to try to highlight that now. Now, on top of that, we readjusted the planting mitigation plan, and part of the feedback that we got from the community is this freeway noise. And so if you'll see in the mitigation plan that we have, part of that planting plan includes roughly 30 plus buffer trees along the interstate that are going to grow up and be a great noise barrier. But I will also say that our spray foam insulated homes will be an artificial noise barrier for anybody that's to the south. Now, after we did the anchor tree in the tree buffer, we also dealt with what Director Creel talked about, okay, so we have one trunk of a tree that maybe comes up and forks into 2 different clusters. Well, instead of trying to pull the tape measure up, figure out how many we can do, we included every single possible tree that we could, and what that resulted in is an exponential increase in the mitigation planting trees, because it's a 2-for-1. So where we have a cluster of 3, that ends up being a 6 additional or 4 additional, 5 additional, however you want to count, 4 additional planted trees. So, you know, we have gone through this process, and we've got some valuable feedback, and I think that it ended up being valuable to the community, and we're really excited to get started. Now, there's a process to all these things, and we understand that. And part of that process is we have a great team of folks. And so I'm going to go ahead and yield my time. But in saying that, we have, experts that will kind of walk us through kind of how we got here. We have engineers that look at all of our grading and make sure that we're compliant with DEQ drainage requirements and grading and all the different things. And then we have a landscape architect that goes through and designs a planting plan that's going to be what I think is going to be tremendous. But with all that said, I'll just finish that a lot of the comments that we've heard deal with the predecessor Elliott homes. And those are things that we don't control. We stepped into. We didn't buy Elliott homes. We purchased real estate. So we didn't step in and assume any obligations that didn't run with the land. And I think that that's just a critical piece that I want everybody to understand, in the sense that we're not trying to skirt any obligation that we have. But at the same time, I'm wary to be held to an obligation that somebody else may not have fulfilled. And that looking back now, there's not a lot I can do about that, but what I can promise you is moving forward in this community, we hold ourselves to a very high standard. We will hold that, and I'm not gonna flip land. I'm gonna build these homes, and we're gonna create thousands of jobs in building out 49 homes, from concrete workers all the way up to the lumber, you name it. This is going to be an economic development within this community, and with that, I will yield time to Donovan Scruggs, and I'll be available for questions.
Good evening. My name is Donovan Scruggs. I'm at 317 Pine Drive in Ocean Springs. I'm representing Meritage Homes. I put before you a letter this morning that does outline some of the rebuttals associated with the letters that were submitted to you by the appellants. I do want to jump to the back of that document, which shows a map. And these maps are critical because they show the changes in grade associated with this property. Mr. Shoemaker, you mentioned that previously that you've got a lot of drainage issues in Ward 4. In years past, when a lot of those developments actually occurred, there was no stormwater retention requirements. Basically, folks put in roads without curb and gutter. There were no detention requirements, and water just ran downhill and toward the bayou. That's completely changed nowadays, and currently there's a zero runoff standard, meaning that water cannot exceed the pre-development runoff. You can't increase it. So to do that, though, you've got to change grades. And that is one thing that will occur on this site. And that's what's causing the number of trees to be removed, is to basically comply with city ordinances for drainage and infrastructure requirements. Now, in the letter that you received, there was some discussion regarding final plat coming. You can't apply for final plat until it's constructed, and that you can't even apply for the removal of trees until the subdivision is constructed. That's not possible. There is no way for this subdivision to be developed until these trees are removed. It's just not practical. There were some comments in the letter that discussed the ordering of this process, meaning that somehow or another phase 2 can't come after phase 1, or that projects can't move forward concurrently. That is not accurate. Developments and various phases of developments can run concurrently and do that all across this county and all across this Gulf Coast. So I think there is maybe a lack of understanding of the development process by those who have submitted this appeal. And that's fine. I mean, they're not in the business. They don't do it. They don't work it. But what we've asked for and what we've done is not inconsistent with anything else that's been done on the Gulf Coast. There appeared to be some deficiencies mentioned in the appellant's letter as well. The letter that you got from the appellants did not include all of the documents. In fact, it missed a page which actually outlined the purpose of the removal of these trees, which is the development of a single-family subdivision. The Planning Commission has a very good understanding of this process, as does your staff. And quite simply, you cannot develop a single-family residential subdivision without some grade changes. So I do believe that the application that was submitted was accurate, and it did suffice, and it did not miss anything that was critical. The item 4 is of your review standards, gives a reason for removal, which is the removal that's necessary to comply with stormwater regulations or to maintain public health and safety around utilities and infrastructure. Your own ordinance says that one of the reasons we can take down a tree is to comply with your standards. So that is indeed what has occurred here. Preliminary plat approval authorizes the developer to submit plans for the construction of a subdivision. Construction plans must not substantially deviate from the preliminary plat, and final plat must be consistent with the preliminary plat. So once we receive preliminary plat, we're basically required to move forward with that plan. And that's what we've done. And the removal of trees during this process is just something that, that does occur. Now, the protected trees, it says the protected tree prevents development of a lot in any way for the building area, authorizes removal. If we saved every tree that was out there, or if we did not take these trees down, it would severely limit the developable area of this property and reduce the number of units that could be done. So I think it's, we are consistent with your requirements, plus it says a mitigation plan is provided. We have done what your ordinance has required, and we have met with staff and worked with staff the whole way through this. Now, it's interesting as well that the appellants have recommended that we apply for a variance, which I think almost indicates that we have a hardship. Variances can only be issued if you have a hardship. So in my opinion, by the appellants offering that we make that application for a variance, they're essentially saying that a hardship exists, and therefore we should be allowed, some ability to move forward one way or another. I want to yield the rest of my time to Mr. Glisson, who is an engineer and can speak more about the dynamics of site development. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Council. My name is Chase Glisson with Coastal Design Solutions, consultant engineer for Meritage Homes for Phase 2, Hawk Creek. I understand we're here today to speak to Phase 2. Generically, I'd be happy to touch on just generally being a utility background, work along the existing Phase 1 roadway, if I'm not mistaken, would be covered by the department team here in the future planning, expansion growth, responsible growth in that area. So certainly appreciate that from the appeal. In this case, I want to speak to Phase 2 alone. A couple conditions that we certainly focus on, obviously safety being number 1, compliance being number 2, responsible growth being number 3. In that sense, we've got roadways that are limited as far as to the slope and the amount of turns or the gradualness in those turns. That's a vertical and a horizontal condition within those roadways. We've got obviously the focus on mass grading. We've got 79 trees that were identified as protected, 40 of which are being preserved. I feel like we need to come back to that because it's something that I don't take lightly in the sense of what I'm challenged to do every day in this sense of providing a serviceable, development plan. So we've gotten approval from all entities, including the engineering department here within the city. Obviously, approval from the tree committee, approval from the planning commission. I really want to touch on specific questions if there are any, but I know a lot of the focus is the trees specifically, and that's where I want to focus my attention. So you've got trees that range from 8-inch to say 40-inch in diameter. You've got canopies that could be 10 feet diameter up to 30 feet diameter. We're talking about building lots that are 80 foot wide, 120 foot deep. you'll see, again, we preserved 40 trees. That's pretty difficult. We've got grade change that moves from 15-foot elevation above mean sea level up to 45-foot there at the interstate. That's a ridge. We're not changing that transition there at that ridge. Yes, we are removing some trees. That ridge is still there to protect for noise interest associated with that general area. All drainage within the area will be centrally focused. We can't shed water to our neighbors. So that drainage is collected and held so that we don't exceed the previous condition of that drainage as is today. Phase 2 is obviously definitely different from Phase 1. New roadways, rollover curb, drainage system, water and sewer system, everything compliant with today's standards, and this is Meritage standard. So personally, I'll give it back to Jordan, but I'm happy to address any questions if we have any.
Mr. Shoemaker, you got any questions?
No, sir, I was going to save some comments and some different things I had when we came up to it on the agenda.
You can reserve your time for that if you like.
Thank you.
Any other questions before you leave the seat from anyone?
I have a couple. On here, where some of these roads are, or some of these lots that you have trees on, you have to build up a significant amount, right?
The lower portion, the southern, we'll call southern half of the development will pretty much stay very consistent with existing grading. The northern portion is where we're actually cutting. We'll remove some grade, which is why, in accordance to the city's ordinance, if we impact over 6 inches there at the trunk of the tree, there's potential for that tree health to be impacted, which is why we're proposing to remove those trees, is because we would impact over 6 inches there around that trunk.
So how many of these protected trees is in the bottom? Now, I know you got 2 bottoms that come through there. I mean, it looks like you have a few of them up in there.
Yeah, roughly, I would say 10 to the south and the remaining.
Sir, our time's expired for this segment.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll move back to, how many minutes? We got 5 minutes, is that correct? 5 minutes for the appellate.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to speak tonight, but the trees that have already been taken out for Phase 1 has already been a problem. I can't sit in my backyard without hearing major road noise. It's just ridiculous. And to take out any more trees, the trees that they're going to plant again, I'm 60 years old, so those won't be ready for a buffer for 20 more years. That's not going to do any good. The only thing that might do any good is if they built a wall like they have going to Diamond Head, but taking these trees out is not going to be a good option. And once again, I've had to call the police department because the roads are so small. These new houses that are already in there on Oak Lawn, people are parking in the street. There's not enough driveway. So when they have people parking in the street, I almost hit one night. It was a black car, and they were just visiting. And I know you can't fix ignorance, people parking in the street, but that's just an example. This road is, 28 feet? What's the legal? Okay, well, it's nowhere near that. These roads were built when Eagle Point was way back when Eagle Point was built, and they've not done anything with them since, maybe repaved after Katrina. But the fire trucks and the buses, and while those houses were being built, there were concrete trucks. There were builders dropping off wood. You couldn't get past. There's just nowhere to go. It's a very small road. So the 2 outlets, inlets to Eagle Point, Shorecrest and Oak Lawn, are both too skinny. They're building by the sewer plant all those houses. That road's too small. That's a whole nother issue. But the issue with the trees, I'm asking y'all to please stop this. We've been to the tree committee And I don't know how many times it has to get knocked down, but it keeps coming back. And we have to keep coming to fight and fight and fight. And I love my neighborhood. I'm trying to retire in the next few years, and this has just been a bad thing for our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess that concludes the hearing. Move on to the next item, which is citizens' comments. We have a total allotted time of 45 minutes. Each person that's recognized, come up to the front, sign in, state your name and address clearly for the clerk to record. Direct your comments directly to the chair and the council and not anyone in the audience. And with that, we'll start on my left, your right. Raise your hand to be recognized. Mr. Husley.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Well, last, I'm say 3-4 city council meetings, I've been here, been complaining about the drainage, and talked to Mr. Shoemaker, and been also complaining about the public waterworks and the police department. Well, in the last day or so, we have seen a little bit more public works out there, and I did get to show one of the guys some of the issues that was going on out there. And today I got a phone call from Danny Wynn that tomorrow we'll have a meeting set with Ms. Shoemaker, Ms. Christie, myself, my dad. And I'm hoping that this meeting here is going to resolve the issue, and we're going to be able to set a date and time of when we can get it started and not just keep postponing it. And, you know, all those little country town out there, we don't want no growth. You got Ward 1, you got Ward 2. Why don't y'all build down here? We don't want it. Then you're hearing people from Eagle Point. They don't want it. There's too much issues out there that have never been fixed. Y'all have always pushed it off, pushed it off, pushed it off. Well, I've been sitting there, listening to Mr. Marshall, Mr. Gray, Mr. Nails. Pretty much, I ain't got nothing against none of you. Don't really know none of you. But everything y'all say y'all want, y'all get. It starts happening. You talk about, homeless people? Boom. Sidewalks, parks, y'all get it. We don't get nothing. As far as y'all beating up on the sheriff, the chief of police, y'all not accomplishing nothing but that. Why don't y'all grab a badge yourself and put it on, walk with that homeless person, say, hey, hit the road, bud. Get out of here. I myself, I've came here for the last, like I said, 3 or 4. It's the same thing. Same old thing. It ain't gonna never change around here. The people out at the Wool Market, we don't want it. Bring it to y'all's ward. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have the headaches to go along with it. We don't want it. Mayor, we don't want it. And Ms. Christie, I hope and pray tomorrow, we can sit down tomorrow. I finish?
Yeah. You got 2 seconds.
I hope tomorrow we can finish our discussion and we can set a time and date we get started on this drainage issue.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else on my left? Yes.
Dane Sensor, Biloxi. Just out of curiosity, I went in this room. how many people in the room, you don't have to answer the question, but being honest to yourself, how many people know when National American Flag Day is? I'm wondering in my mind, and up there in the back here, and I got a feeling not a lot of people really actually know that date. If you don't know the date, I'll tell you when. It's June 14th, Sunday, okay? We honor the American flag. Just out of a little history there and honoring, because this is the 250th anniversary. In fact, 1 month exactly from today, 4th of July, 250th celebration weekend starts. One month from today. I saw your flyer here for the city on this 4th of July celebration. The one thing I was just astonished is you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sponsors. And I'm saying to myself, I don't see one casino name sponsoring a 4th of July event in Biloxi. The money that these people rake in, they can't sponsor the 250th anniversary of America? Shocking. I would think I would see every single casino on there doing something to support what you're doing. Not one. Pretty amazing to me. I was at the Jeep event over here in Long Beach this weekend, probably 5,000 Jeeps. Jeep, American name. Probably 15,000 people. I took my little sign here, wanted to drum up a little patriotism over there, and had a big 4x8. I had flags, American flags. Any donation, get yourself a flag. Had that big one there. You know how many people died for this flag, killed in action? In 1776, over 1.6 million people, men and women, have died, spilled their blood, killed in action for this flag. You know I could not sell or give away for any donation this flag? Not one person took it or bought it for any donation. I said, and we used the money to bring the world's largest flag in the, it was amazing. Let it be a reminder, right here, I'm going to leave it here, of the 1.6 million that gave their life for that flag.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I appreciate you guys letting us come and speak to you this evening. I, too, I have a debilitating fear of public speaking. I have zero issues singing for all of you guys at all of your festivals, but I don't like speaking in front of people. So if I get flustered, I'm sorry. My shop is the Avenue Salon in the beginning of Howard Avenue. We came to the loss of our parking spaces along with the neighboring businesses that we have in that strip. None of us knew, though I know now after being here at this meeting, that it was available to our knowledge. We just had no clue about it. I understand the thought process behind wanting safety. Obviously, life matters, safety matters. We have in the past dealt with issues with the homeless community. At nighttime, we work late. The kids that run the ice cream shop are young. They're high school kids. They're there till 9 o'clock at night. Some of us have been doing hair for 16 years. Our clients have aged with us. We have a lot of elderly clients that struggle getting in already. There's 12 of us in the salon. The city of Biloxi's always done really good with us. We love Biloxi. We love our neighbors. It's a family down here. We already felt like we had limited parking to begin with. We've expanded twice since we've been here 6 years ago when we first began. So we've been very lucky in that aspect. But the limited parking, those 10 parking spots that were removed, were already limited to us. We fought, yes, with some of the hospital employees that would take those spots during the day and park there for 8 hours, but overall in general, it's just there's so many of us. We have the ice cream shop, we have the accountant and the attorney and all of us. So I don't know like what your plans are fully. I'll come tomorrow maybe to help. You guys can help me further understand. But for us, I do think that it will affect us negatively. The lack of convenience, though I know it is a luxury item to get out of your car and walk into a business, but the lack of that convenience will 100% affect our clientele in an economy that's already affecting our clientele as it is. We have women in our shop that are new mothers, some that are expecting mothers, some that are mothers to children that don't have present fathers. Like, we need our jobs, we need our business. We don't make money if people don't come in. If it's not convenient for them to come in, they won't come, they will leave. They do. If it's not convenient, they will leave. And I don't know any women who want to go and spend all kinds of money to get their hair done, to walk outside in our beautiful coastal weather, to have it ruined because they got to walk 10 minutes to get to their car, wherever it is, you know? So I guess all I'm asking is whatever your decision is that you're going to make, if you could just do it really quick, figure out a way to
Thank you, ma'am.
some of that for us, that would be really awesome.
Your time's expired, but can you state your name for the record?
Peggy Anderson.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Ms. Anderson. Anyone else on my left? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Abby Smith. I'm here to piggyback off of what Peggy had to say and what Alderman Tisdale had to say about the street parking on Howard Avenue and the recent complaints from business owners in the area. I'd like to thank him for raising this on our behalf and additionally expanding on the topic. I've collected some data earlier today with my coworkers and the Mississippi Department of Transportation codes. Based on the 2022 MDOT roadway design manual, MDOT specifies that for interstate and freeway traffic, a minimum of 12 feet is to be between lanes. This must exist for urban or low-speed traffic. This dimension can be reduced to only 11 feet. As seen on Howard Avenue, in front of the Avenue Salon, it's nearly 25 feet between parking spaces. That's exceeding the minimum requirements for high-speed traffic while still retaining parallel parking. Additionally, if the intent was to exceed the standards set forth by MDOT, why have the crosshatches been painted over the existing parallel parking zones with the same dimensional standards, allowing for no additional travel width to be created? Down Howard Avenue towards Elsie's and the Cornerstone Boutique, anything after Skull heading east, yes, it does go down to 17 feet in between. Totally understandable to take those spots away. We have 25 feet. The city hasn't produced any traffic studies or engineering work to determine the underlying cause of traffic distributions and deviated from the state-designed standards directly impacting the small businesses who support the city. We would like our parking back. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on my left? Raise your hand to be recognized if you want to speak. Move over to my right, your left. Anyone would like to speak on this side of the room? Anyone in the back? Come on up.
My name is Christopher Kelly. Not sure if this is appropriate here at the time because I've been to one of these before, but I wanted to speak a little bit on there. For me, I moved into the new home specifically for what Heritage was building and the opportunity that meant. So I'm hoping that carries a little bit of weight. Because with them being held up, that kind of messes up some of the expectations and the primary reason that we had moved into those homes. I understand that there's a lot of concerns with some of the previous things that have been done before and some of the current things that are being done. But having listened to the plans that they have going forward, I would like to see the project be able to move forward as the expectation.
All right, your name, sir,
Christopher Kelly,
and your address.
9676 West Oaklawn Road.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak before we close this segment? Yes, ma'am.
If I'm on the policy agenda, I don't.
If you're on the policy agenda, we would allow her to speak if you're directly related to it. You have the option to speak on both if you would like 3 minutes plus. Okay. Anyone else would like to speak before we close this segment? Citizens' comments is now closed. We'll move on to the policy agenda.
Ordinance to approve a zoning map amendment to authorize a change in zoning for 4 parcels of land from residential estate to agricultural for properties located at 13582, 13524, and 13506 Old Highway 67.
Thank you, Carrie. This was moved by Mr. Shoemaker, and it was seconded by Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Shoemaker.
I'm sorry. I'll just say the Planning Commission basically determined that a mistake existed in zoning that existed prior to our annexation, and I think now we're just trying to fix that and correct that from many years ago. So
thank you,
I support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. Mr. Tisdale, anything to add?
Yes, Jerry, if you don't mind. And I think the confusion, if I understood it correctly at the Planning Commission meeting, was that when, I guess, property is annexed into the city, you may have to reclassify it closest to what matches the zoning, if you will, for the city of Biloxi. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think that's maybe what caused some of the confusion here, and that's why maybe it was misclassified at the beginning with that annexation. But if you just, am I on the right track?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Undeveloped property, when we annex it and it comes into the city, is always brought in as agricultural. This particular piece of property is always, everything I've seen about it has been used as agricultural property. They raise animals there. They meet the minimum lot requirement for agricultural property. And actually, I think the mistake occurred when the LDO was adopted in 2010. And so I'm not sure why it changed. It was something that wasn't noticed back then, but we believe that it was a mistake in the change and should go back to being agricultural.
Thank you, Director. Any other comments? Anybody? Call for the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Resolution to deny the appeal and affirm the decision of the Biloxi Planning Commission to remove 39 protected trees upon Lot 23 of Hawk Creek subdivision.
Chair, I entertain a motion to deny the appeal and affirm the decision of the Planning Commission.
I'll make that motion.
All right, moved by Mr. Tisdale. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Shoemaker. Mr. Tisdale.
I just want to make an initial observation of all the time that was spent by the appellants speaking. Most of that, not all of it, but almost all of it focused on infrastructure, not really the trees. And Mr. Creel gave the history. This has kind of bounced back and forth for, 14 or 15 months now. And I was in all those planning commission meetings. I think based on and the tree committees heard this twice, or if not 3 times, the planning commissions heard it 3 times now. This is the second time we've heard it. And just looking at the iterations, it would appear that the developer pertaining to the tree, since this is a tree appeal, has done pretty much whatever the city has asked be done. But let me go back, and I'll leave the trees there. But let me go back just because if I understand correctly, Oaklawn Road has existed there for a number of years. I don't know, 20, 40 years, I have no idea, a long time. And then Hawkwind 1 was built, but not really completed, and then this new company came in, and not having to do that, but they decided to finish that. Hawkwind 2, Phase 2, there will, let's see, that leaves Oak Lawn Road and Oakview Lane then leads to this Phase 2 and the interior roads. Now, those new roads, Jerry, so these new roads are the responsibility of the developer, is that correct?
That's correct, and they'll have to meet all of the standards on infrastructure,
Exactly.
Streets, drainage, everything.
Exactly.
Within the development.
Now, Oak Lawn Road, because this comes up time and time again in Ward 6 and Ward 7, I think, rural roads years ago, been there a long time. Whose responsibility is it to improve those roads or make them wider if they need to be wider?
It depends. If those roads had been designated as collector roads or arterial roads in the city's major thoroughfare plan, it would have been the responsibility of the developer to do that. However, we were told years ago when this came up by the attorneys that we cannot force a private developer to improve city infrastructure. That, first of all, it's the equivalent of an impact fee, which we know are not legal. Secondly, the developer's insurance, builder's insurance and so forth, does not cover them if they're working on something other than the site that was approved. So that was one of the reasons. If you want me to go into the issue of the ditch, I will, but
I hadn't planned to. I don't know. It's really not germane to this tree hearing. But I just wanted to be clear on the road. So if I understood correctly, it's pretty much a city's responsibility to widen Oak Lawn Road, or no?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, obviously somebody's got to. Now, I'll also say that I've heard over the years, I believe somebody who spoke earlier during citizens' comments, and that is some people in Wool Market don't want growth.
I hear that a good bit too.
You can't answer that.
We actually heard that tonight by one of the speakers.
But I understand that. They're out there, they like they enjoy their life out there. They really don't want it to change. I can understand that. The only thing that I'd really like to point out is if you want to move to Biloxi, and in Ward 1 and Ward 2, they would love for you to build in Ward 1, 2. And for those of you who would like to see that done, no problem, purchase the property, and they'll encourage you to build it. We might even give you some incentives to build there. But having said that, I just wanted to clarify the road issue. Thank you so much. That's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker.
Yeah, thank you. Truthfully, I have quite a bit to say, and I know we've been here a long time, so I will try not to be long-winded. I know when we heard this before regarding the trees, I had a lot to say then. And when I spoke then, most of what I said had nothing to do with what's on the agenda. So I'm going to reiterate, I know what's on the agenda today is the protected trees, and that's what we are voting on today. However, I would be remiss if I didn't speak on these other issues that have been brought to my attention by multiple residents in my ward. I have been inundated for months, and even more so in the last couple of weeks. Text messages, emails, phone calls. And again, this has nothing to do with the trees, but Eagle Point, and I know this isn't a big deal to most people, but you know, there's eagles that are living in all these woods. Where look, this isn't a blue jay or a sparrow. This is eagles. Where are the eagles going to go? Honestly, those trees, all those trees, whether we approve the protected trees or not, only thing that'll be left is protected trees and the trees that are planted. The eagles, where are they going? Who knows? Eagles, we just don't see eagles like we see other birds. Flooding's horrible. Flooding was horrible when it was woods, and it's even worse now. And quite frankly, Biloxi, things that the Biloxi should have done probably we did not do and have not done. with this subdivision. And some of those reasons, or some of that is the reason, quite frankly, is why the things are like they are now. Not all of them. We can't put all that on the city. And I've worked with Director Labatta recently, and we're working on, again, like I mentioned earlier, some drainage, but this is one of those that is not an easy fix. There's nothing easy about fixing the drainage there, unfortunately. We're working on some things. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to widen Shorecrest Road. Pipe dream, but I'm hoping that's coming. I really do. And maybe that'll help with some issues down the line. Meritage. Look, they've done, I think they've gone out of their way, and they've done a lot of, they've gone back to the drawing board and done a lot of things. They really have. I've contacted Jordan multiple times. If he doesn't answer, he calls me back. He's called me multiple times. We've talked, and I know he's reached out to the councilman, so he's trying to do, you know, what he thinks needs to be done for the subdivision. And I understand that. They bought Elliott Homes, and what they got is what they got. Now it's on them, and they've got to fix some things, and that's a problem. The trees, another issue with the residents, and I understand that. I don't live up there, but I understand just what Ms. Hodge was saying earlier about the trees. She's 60 years old, and I've said that before. We won't be around when the new trees are planted. They're not big, beautiful trees. The shrubbery's not there. The brush is not there. The city, state, county, nor Meritage Homes are building walls on that interstate to stop noise. That's just a fact. It's an unfortunate fact. It's not going to happen. So that noise is coming. And I said I wasn't going to get long-winded, but let me say, and I'll stop it here, that, hell, now I've done lost my train of thought. All that, I'm getting old like Councilman Tisdale now. I mean, all that, and
He's rubbing off on you.
it is, and I had something I wanted to say, and I don't always take notes, and
What's your name again?
yeah, Paul Tisdale. And I forgot what I was going to say.
We can come back to you.
What was the sound barrier? But they, honestly, that moving forward, regardless of what the vote is today, this is what I wanted to say. Regardless of how we vote right now, there's no doubt that subdivision is coming. And I only hope, in talking with Jordan, with Meritage, I feel that they're going to do the right thing moving forward. That being said, that's phase two. We can't stop phase two from being constructed and the development starting. I've been asked by a lot of people, and unfortunately, all that was approved several years ago. And we can't go back and change what was approved. So phase two is coming. It's just going to be whether it comes with protected trees or the protected trees are removed. If I think of anything else, I will. You'll come back to me maybe if that's okay. But for now, that's all I have.
I have a couple of questions, so I don't forget either, that Mr. Shoemaker raised. On the eagles they have habitat in that area, are any of these trees that are protected trees, are there any nesting in any of those trees?
Not that I'm aware of, but the developer probably did an environmental on this property, and, okay, no eagles on the property. Developments have to do an environmental study, and so what they're telling me is that there are no eagle nests on this property.
All right, so the environmental study came back that the removal of these trees wouldn't impact the habitat or the eagles that are in this area? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what they're telling me, yes.
All right, that's what they're telling you. I'd certainly like to, I'm interested in that report. The other thing, how many total acres in this section that we're talking about that we surveyed? How many acres? Is it 30 acres or?
22.
22 acres. So 22 acres, we're talking a total of 37?
47.
37 protected trees to be removed.
Yeah.
How many total trees are on this property approximate?
It's
20-something acres. How many total trees?
Protected trees is double that.
And
They're saving, he said 40, they're saving 38 or 39 that we're aware of, and they're removing 39, 3 of which are not protected trees, and then they're going to be replanting 79. And one of the advantages of this too is that the existing trees along the I-10 property line, those existing trees only cover about half of that right-of-way line. And what they're proposing is to plant trees all down that property line. So there would be a full buffer between the subdivision and the highway right-of-way.
What is the estimated, if you had a full green light for tomorrow, if you were to say we're going to go develop phase 2 and we got all the permits, what is the estimated timeline with that? All right, a couple of years, maybe 2 years total, is that what you're telling me? Yeah, full build out from the last, at least. Is any consideration, no time is money, but stair stepping even that development to somehow plant some trees immediately and at least, I mean, I know it's 20 years, I'm not even going to go there. I was trying to have a thought that won't work. So if this is the tree portion only, we're talking about the, the tree committee, what is recommended, what y'all have adjusted your plans to. If this was approved, are there still more approvals that you have to get as you build out phase 2? No. So this is the last hurdle, resolving the tree. Once it's resolved, you can now pull the trigger and go forward. Is that what I'm hearing? So there's no other consideration there's requirements for the road, there's requirements, for more of the infrastructure. I know you talked about the flooding. I wanted to focus on that. Is your plan simply, I think I heard your term was 0 from the pre-runoff to the post-runoff?
That's a requirement.
Is it, I know it's a requirement, but some developments do more. Some developments, their retention ponds are bigger, or they do multiple retention ponds to collect more water, so they actually improve the overall drainage in the area. I know you're not required to do that. I'm just asking the question, is it 0 to 0? I mean, it's no more, no less? It's a net reduction of how much? Is it 0? Is it +1? Or, I mean, do you have...
It's greater because it's a net reduction greater than
like... That's an important element. I think that's because if this is unstoppable, like Councilman Shoemaker said, certainly telling the people in this area that we are developing it and we're actually going to improve the drainage. Now, they're going to be looking at it as skeptical, very skeptical, because I think a lot of people said I've been told that before, and we're getting videos this past weekend. I know it's a deluge of rain, but they're making a point that here's what's happening in our community. Biloxi was supposed to help us in this area, and this is what we still have. So that's why I ask you, sir, so you're telling me the drainage plan actually improves the overall drainage in this area? Are you?
Phase 2, recognize that we don't impact roadways, phase 2 is inevitable.
Okay.
Let me mention something too, because we go through this at DRC. Right now, you have an undeveloped piece of property where the water there's no control over where the water goes. It's basically going where it wants to go. But when you actually study it, an engineer studies it, then they develop a controlled flow of that water to send it to their detention pond. So studying property that has never been developed before, you always get an improvement to the drainage.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And again, I know this is tree. We're talking about the tree issue, but I'm going to get back to the street width. I'm trying to understand who's going to do what here. I mean, is the developer going to assist? Is the city's responsible? Do we have to go out and seek, any kind of grants or funding, either through the county or otherwise? What is our plan? What's our vision for this area?
That might be something for Director Le Batard to to address since it involves.
Is there a plan for this, or is it, hey, this is what we got to deal with, and we'll deal with that later once we know if we're going to approve this, this tree issue? Can anybody speak on that? No one? No.
Talking about the widening of Shorecrest and something, we had actually put some dollars in the proposed bond issue for widening Shorecrest.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's could be a bond financing, but it's on us. Whatever it is, it's on us.
And there's already plenty of right-of-way on the Shorecrest side of this property.
Okay. I'm getting some answers. I'm still trying to get a hold of it. Anybody else have any comments? Mr. Creel.
I got one.
Get back to you next.
Quick question regarding the trees. Now, they're planting 70 trees, and I think that it's comments been made that the size of the tree when they plant it is not going to be a mature tree. What is the timeline on the developer to monitor those trees to make sure that they don't die? Is there a timeline on the monitoring to make?
3 years.
Yeah.
So they're responsible for the trees for 3 years in order, and they replace them if they die.
That's correct.
It's up to them to do that. Who monitors them monitoring those trees?
We do. We keep up with it at DRC about the projects that get approved, and we monitor how many trees were planted on each piece of property, and then we go in and
they identify those trees where they are on a plat to where you can look and monitor. Okay. Was there any mitigation as far as financial going into the tree fund on this project, or is it just all planted trees?
The plan shows that they're going to plant the trees, but they have agreed that if for whatever reason something minor changes there where they lose another tree, they would be willing to pay into the tree bank.
Okay, and will we be notified if that does, if any changes?
Yeah, because the city council would have to vote on that to accept any money that they pay into the tree bank. You ought to have to vote on that.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Mr. Nail.
I was just wondering, how many houses are going to be built on this property?
47 more.
27?
47.
Oh, 47.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
22 have been built already right down the street lines, and 47 are proposed for inside the development.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that where they're living at right now, people fought to get where they're at right now. And now we're going to build something new for the people to live in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. They're going to build 47 new homes.
Yes, sir.
Correct? All right. How many homes was destroyed in Eagle Point during Hurricane Katrina?
We had 2,300 and...
I mean, Eagle Point.
34. I don't know exactly how many were in Eagle Point, but it was a number of them along the water's edge that certainly got...
And how many empty lots do we have in Eagle? Are they all full now?
No.
All empty lots?
All full. I've got a map. If Carrie will put it up, I brought this just so we could show you. Okay, this is the area we're talking about. This is the property where that Hawk Creek is supposed to go. You can see the houses that have been built along West Oak Lawn and up Shorecrest. South of there, you've got a development that's got, they're proposing the total would be 69. There are 70 houses in this area right here south of there. There are 94 houses here in this area, and there's another 65 or 66 in this area down here. One of the good things about this development that's going in is the people who have concerns about increased traffic down here, these people up here have no reason to come down into here because there's no way out. This is Eagle Point, it's a peninsula. If those people are coming and going, they're going to go West Oak Lawn or Shorecrest to get out. So they're not having to come down into Eagle Point.
So, I mean, how many empty lots is still buildable down in that lower section?
It looks like the majority of them would be right down on the end, and I don't have that on the map, but there are still some vacant
How
lots
gonna hold
down
it
there.
to it? 50, 60?
30 to 50 maybe, 30.
So we're not gonna put any, we're not letting nobody build down there?
No, we're not stopping anybody from, yeah, we're not stopping anybody from building anywhere. You know,
Because I mean, people are saying too much traffic. You put 40-something here, then you got another 50 down here. I mean, so one or the other. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so if you not gonna let them build up there, you can't let them build down there because there's too many people. So, I mean, we as a city, we also have to come in and fix the roadways. And I've walked out there, walked the property, and looked at the problems, and I'm not putting blame on either one, but it could have been done better on both sides with the sidewalk and the drainage. And one thing we can't look at is the drainage. If we come in there and redo the roads, we're gonna have to put drainage in. And hopefully the developer will help, not on that because it's too late on their part. And they took over, they inherited somebody else's problem,
Yes, sir.
unfortunately. And the drainage ditches was not cut correctly. They wasn't seen that they was cut correctly. So hopefully with them coming in here, they can fix some of these issues as a city. The tree size, are y'all willing to give a bigger tree size than than the standard? I'm the developer.
Yep.
I mean, would y'all be willing to do a bigger tree size than what's there, than what's allowed now?
I'm not even sure what's allowed.
Look-
2 inches. 2 inches and 6 foot height. 2 inches and 6 foot height is what I'm told.
That's what's required. And our arborist, our consulting arborist is here. We've talked about that. We've talked about providing bigger trees, and he said that's not the answer because the smaller trees have a greater survival rate than the larger trees do, and they grow a lot faster. It's like a child growing. They grow a lot faster during their first few years when they take off. Councilman Glavin asked a question a minute ago about the process here. Let me answer that real quick. If this is approved, and because the preliminary plat is already approved, what that would do is give them the confidence to go ahead and put their infrastructure plans together to submit to our engineering department. While the infrastructure is going in, this would be under the oversight of the engineering department. And once all the infrastructure is in, the final plat comes back to the city council for approval. So y'all be able to verify that everything was done that was promised to be done before this thing moves forward. They can't go file it in the courthouse until y'all give it final plat approval, so.
And is there any way, I mean, would they be willing to bring all the traffic, all the heavy trucks, not down Oak Lawn, down the other road, that way it kind of relieves so they're not jamming up one way? I mean, one way, there's only 2 ways in.
There's 2.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So if they guarantee, let everybody know you have to come this way where you're not blocking traffic, because if they come down Oak Lawn, there's no way, or shortcut, there's no way anybody can get around them.
Yeah, the larger access into the property would be off of Shorecrest, yes.
Okay. All right.
We can work out that truck route.
Okay, yes. I mean, because we're not here we're here for the trees, not the traffic. I know that. And so that's what we're here. This project's going to happen whether we let it vote the trees up or down. This project's going to happen. So we're just trying to cover, and hopefully the city can maybe look at what needs to be done. And me and you walk the property, and we look at, and I showed you some of my concerns out there that could have been done. And hopefully we get that little bridge built so that people can at least start walking that. And that was just poor planning, as me and you looked at, and it wasn't y'all's fault. I mean, the power poles was in different areas, the fire hydrants was offset, everything wasn't like it could have been looked at a little better. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Any other comments? There being none? No. Mr. Marshall?
Yes, sir, I got a comment. I might need 2 mics. East Biloxi got over 1,000 empty lots. Sidewalks are already there. Sewer lines already there. Drainage already there. Water lines already there, waiting for the houses. Yeah, we're going to
Elevation.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to what I'm saying after I correct you on something, okay? Every casino in this city is sitting in a flood zone, yet they represent over 40% of our general fund budget. So to say that East Biloxi has an elevation problem, that's what the problem is, no. Then you have to tell that to every casino. If every casino disappeared or didn't develop in East Biloxi, you will have 40% less income in this city entirely. So that's just an excuse that you're throwing on East Biloxi. Every casino. And you go around this coastline from here all the way down to Florida. They're building $1 million houses in flood zones. So that's just an excuse. But let me get back to what I was really talking about. We have over 1,000 empty lots. You don't have to have $1 million to build there. You can build there, you can go there, and you got to cut down a tree. No eagles have to be discovered, to be moved around. You don't even go around and dig a ditch. You have to pave no roads. All you gotta do is show up. We got development going in the wrong place. These people moved there to get away from us, to get away from the development, to get away from all the overcrowding. What you're doing is the whole reason for them being there, you decided to go and destroy their peace. That's not right. They're actually paying you to take away their comfort and their peace when you don't have to be there. There are over 1,000 lots that these people out here have already paid for the sidewalks. Mr. and Mrs. Biloxi have already developed a whole area for housing. You don't have to widen their roads. You don't have to destroy their infrastructure. You don't have to cut down their trees. All you have to do is promote what you already have, and everybody would be happy. In the next few months, I'm going to be working on plans directly for that purpose, to give these people an opportunity to say, that's why we're out here. They move way out there so they can have the size houses they want, they can have the nice comfort of a neighborhood that they want. So why we have to go and destroy it when we don't have to? So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you up front, this is crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. I mentioned elevation because we desperately need that base elevation reduced, and hopefully we'll see some progress on that. The dogs are another issue, though, but we won't get into that. I'm just kidding.
Real quick, may I say?
Yes, Mr. Shoemaker.
No, very quick. All of this, and not that this matters, but just was approved. Ward 7 had no representation when this was approved. It was a time between, I had been elected but not sworn in yet, so there was no representation by Ward 7 when Hawk Creek was approved, Phase 1 and 2, just for the record. Secondly, the traffic, you've only got 2 roads, Shorecrest and Oaklawn. Neither are suitable for, quite frankly, any big trucks. I drive an F-250, and I was driving down literally Shorecrest today and almost had to come to not a complete stop, but slow down because a truck was passing, pulling a trailer with lawnmower equipment. So neither road's good. Shorecrest, they're building a subdivision already at Boyette and Shorecrest. So I just know moving forward in the future, when this phase starts development, we're going to have some issues, probably like we're having on Wash Fayard, where some trucks are rolling on the side of the road and in the ditches. I'm confident that's going to happen. And lastly, and I know this is not going to sound smart at all, what I'm about to say, and I'm being sincere when I say it, though, to the developers, and I said it last time, and I know you guys are in it for the money, obviously, but for you guys to be good stewards to the community and Eagle Point and the rest of the subdivisions and houses around there, rethink at least somewhat of a buffer. I know we can't change anything else in there except these protected trees, but somewhat of a buffer of trees, shrubs, and brush would make, I think, a huge difference in a lot of the people living out there. And I understand the arborist, and I'm no arborist by no means, but, I mean, if we plant a bunch of small trees, I mean, I don't see how that stops, I mean, any noise. That's just me. I think if we left some there, that's the solution of that, if nothing else. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. Anyone else have a comment?
Also, I want to say to Mr. Shoemaker that we realized that Ward 7 at that time, because of the transition and everything, did not have representation. But I want to say I do thank you for what you are doing, where you are speaking up. And if by chance I can get the people of those areas that don't want that development to speak up also and direct your elected officials to the area that needs the development and stand by that, you're going to see a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Anyone else?
One more.
Mr. Gray.
For the people that live in Eagle Point and all over Wool Market, we are here to help y'all. Don't stop. However this goes, if y'all need ditches fixed, roads fixed, y'all reach out to all of us. Y'all send emails to everybody, not just Mr. Shoemaker, because if we don't know, we can't support him. So this here, if y'all want to try to get that fixed, and that stuff will be soon. We're working on, we work with Mr. Shoemaker on all kind of things that these roads need to be. So we understand this development may not be what you want in your neighborhood, but I have talked to several people yesterday when I was out there. This gentleman that got up and spoke earlier, a couple people across the street came over and talked to us. And they want it. They know it was coming, and they're not opposing that. And they live exactly across the street from this neighborhood. We're here to help y'all. We're not here to hurt y'all. Don't think in it that way. We're here to help y'all. If y'all got drainage problems, y'all reach out to all of us. Because Mr. Shoemaker is a councilman for Ward 7, but we're all the councilman for Biloxi. So y'all reach out to us. Y'all got issues with Councilman Shoemaker. Whenever you send him an email, send it to all of us. Send it to the mayor. Now, he don't like emails, but send it to him anyway. That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Call for the question. All in favor of resolution to deny?
May I apologize.
I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure, because there was an A and a B in there.
Okay.
And I think what's on the table now is to
deny the appeal.
Deny the appeal.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're voting in favor to deny the appeal.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure and clarify that.
All in favor of voting in favor of denying the appeal? Those opposed? Motion carries 4-3. Next item.
Resolution appointing Jeffrey Ellis to serve on the Motor Vehicle for Hire Authority.
Chair, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Creel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gray. Mr. Creel.
So this is filling a vacancy vacated by?
Mr. Lane.
Matt Lane is, okay, great. And it's just the unexpired term for the remainder. Perfect, thank you.
All right, Mr. Gray.
No, I think Ms. Ellis would be a great person to represent Biloxi in this. That's all I have.
All right, any other discussion?
Does everybody know Mr. Ellis? I mean, I do, I don't. Apparently some of us do, but others may have questions. No? Okay, good.
All right.
Carry on.
All right, call for the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Need a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Creel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Creel.
I have nothing.
Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, the Margaritaville, that's item A. I just need in 25 words or less. Why it says a higher assessed value than forecasted, and this is dealing with a TIF bond, so I don't know I don't know what the relation is. I don't understand it. Why is it higher? Apparently, we got to pull the money from somewhere. It's coming from the general fund? Explain this to me, please, Peter. Thank you. They call me Mr. Tibbs. Mr. Prevagen.
Yeah, I think on the property taxes for Fifth Street, and this is still the building as it was. It looks like I guess the assessed value went up $460. So it's in the fund balance. I think we're just transferring it from one account to another, $460.
There's
I think the tax assessor is probably part of the 4-year appraisal. I'm not sure either.
Okay.
The amount was so small, it just seemed.
No, exactly. And the Margaritaville we're talking about is what was the original Margaritaville, and then, it's not the
People's
one on
Bank.
Highway 90.
That was a TIF to build that road. People's Bank
Correct.
purchased the TIF. They get paid their debt service on that TIF out of the property taxes. It's been basically interest only because there is no ongoing business there.
Okay, thank you. Item, never mind, I had D answered. Item, on item E, this is the private road, the community college new entrance. Total cost of the project was $489. There's a remainder of $88,906 in non-transferable grant funds received from MDOT. There's also a remainder of $21,908 received from MGCCC. So tell me what's happening here. Thank you.
That the funding from MGCC has already been returned.
Right.
The MDOT, we can't transfer that. We completed the project for less than.
I got it. All right, thank you.
Moving money from budget.
Thank you so much. And then I think it's item, on item I, this deals with the yacht club property, the old library, and I know that there are several parcels there that comprise that property, and one of them was left out. I was just curious which one.
This is the empty lot just to the south of the building. It was in the RFP, it was in their bid. The acreage is correct, but that parcel just got left off.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just was curious about which parcel it was. Thank you. That's all. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Mr. Tisdale. Anyone else have any items on the consent that they want to talk about? Mr. Gray?
Yeah.
All right.
Item J, the no park. Harrison County is going to want to donate some of their equipment and time to help us regrade this park. For some reason, it's about middle ways of the park. It's got about a 1 foot drop off. So they're going to come in and got some volunteers. They're all going to come in and help and get the grade back where we need it at. That's all we have.
All right. Good job, Mr. Gray. Mr. Marshall, you got anything on the consent?
I'm good.
All right. Anyone else? Mr. Shoemaker? Mr. Nail? Nope. Call for the question, then we'll get the exceptions. All in favor? Those opposed, exceptions? Mr. Gray?
None.
Mr. Marshall?
None.
Mr. Nail? None. Mr. Creel?
G.
Mr. Tisdale?
None.
Mr. Shoemaker? G. And I have none. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll open up code enforcement. Director.
Item A on the agenda, FJP Jaspers FP LLC and FJ Jaspers PP. This is 306 DeBees Road. That case has been resolved. Item B, Carol C.H. Broussard Estate, 426 Raynor Street. That case has been resolved. Item C, Malcolm Jamil S. Slay, 2533 Bryn Mawr Avenue. That case has been resolved. Item D, Dominic and Nay Bowie, 1777 Ridgeway Drive. This property is still in violation.
Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of Dominic and Nay Bew, 1777 Ridgeway Drive? There being no one, this case is closed.
Item E, Jerry L. Scott Estate, 177 Daisy Street. That property is still in violation.
Anyone here to speak on behalf of Jerry L. Scott Estate, 177 Daisy Street? There being no one, this case is closed. Need a motion on the routine?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale.
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. Discussion?
None.
None. All in favor? Those opposed, motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Creel, second by Mr. Tisdale. Discussion? There being none, all in favor? Those opposed, we're adjourned.